welcome to a brand new season in the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. We're here live in Albacete in southern Spain. And what a start to the championship we have got. The crowds have been flocking in. We're in for our first dry day of running all weekend. It is a brand new dawn in the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. 18 laps await the European Talent Cup, 6 left-hand corners, 8 right-hand turns around the 3.5-kilometre circuit here in southern Spain in Albacete. As I mentioned, our first dry day of the 2017 season so far. It was bucketing it down yesterday, and it was also bucketing it down on Friday as well, which has led to quite a few setup changes needing to be made ahead of the day's action. The European Talent Cup, of course, launches in 2017, a brand new championship on the FIM CEV Repsol calendar. And they will be racing on the standard Honda NSF 250R machines, the similar bikes that we have seen in the Asia Talent Cup as well. My name is Tom Brooks, and alongside me for this season is Dakota Momola. Riders and teams lining up on the grid ahead of a day's racing. We're very, very excited to get this season underway. And let's welcome in Dakota. Dakota, a very good morning to you, and welcome back to CEV in 2017.
Hey Tom, it's nice to be back here in Albacete. Finally sunshine. I know it's been raining here the past 3 days, so hopefully we'll have some good races. Like you said, you know, having this new challenge over here, the European Cup. We have all these young talented riders that are new, and this new class should be interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. As you said, it's really nice here today. Well, I say a bit nice. It's quite windy as well, which is certainly going to affect these lightweight machines here today. But the first dry day of running that we've had so far in the 2017 season, which is going to be very, very important. Qualifying yesterday was wet, which has led to a very big shake-up on the grid compared to what we were expecting, certainly here for this season. And it's going to be a very, very exciting race. We'll run you through the grid very, very soon and tell you a bit more about the championship very shortly as well. But we were having a look up and down pit lane earlier on today, Dakota, having a look at some of the machinery. And it's surprising just how small these Honda NSF 250R machines are.
Yeah, you know, they're basically like pre-Moto3 bikes. It's basically a bike to kind of get them prepared for the Moto3 bike and make the bigger step up. They do look amazingly fun, and I'm sure we're going to get some really fun battles with these young kids. I'm 100% sure there's a lot of hungry kids out here that want to win it, and yeah, it should be a fun class. Like I said, I think CEV and Dorna have organized this pretty well, and also, I was looking at the at the sheets, and there's not that many Spanish, in the Spanish championship. It's great, it's great to see people from all over the world, and especially for the World Championship, this is what we need: is people not Spanish or Italian, because there's already a lot of talented people from there. And yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting class.
Absolutely. We've got riders from Denmark, we've got riders from Spain, we've got riders from the Czech Republic, Brazil, Italy, France, Great Britain as well, a couple of Britons in the field. So it's set to be one of the most exciting seasons.
I'm looking for the Americans. We need some Americans down here.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we get the American Talent Cup underway. But we were just looking, actually, a few moments ago at the poleman, Maikon Gahara. Wet conditions. He's actually a Brazilian rider, despite being born in Japan and having a very Japanese style of name.
That's kind of like me, born in Spain with an American father and a Belgian mom. So
I wonder if he speaks 4 different languages like yourself as well.
When they ask me, all the time where you're from, I just don't even know what to respond anymore.
Oh, dearie me. But yes, the Honda NSF 250R machines, 4-stroke machines, of course, 250 cc's. That man there, Manuel Gonzalez, he starts from the head of row 2 in 4th position. Keep an eye out for him, because he could be a bit of a dark horse in this race, and was actually, after the warm-up this morning, in 3rd position as well. The first dry session we've had of the day, although it was a bit damp in a few places on track.
I'm not sure if they came here testing. Do you know if they came here testing?
I think they did a couple of weeks ago, yeah, but it was only a select few riders.
Right. So, no, like I said, it's going to be a complete different race. Just having to ride in the rain the past 3 days and going, because warm-up was in the wet for them because they were the first warm-up out. So, but like you said, it's becoming more and more windy. And these light bikes, I know in the wind don't cope so well. So, but yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting one. It's a new championship, so we won't know, really just yet who's going to be up front. But it's going to be basically a free for all right now.
Absolutely, yeah. We were just looking at Simon Jespersen, the Danish rider. He's riding with Team Jespersen. Unlike the Asia Talent Cup, by the way, just in case you are wondering, we do have different liveries on these bikes as well. In the Asia Talent Cup, they all run the same liveries, and the only differentials we see are the numbers and the helmets, and a couple of maybe leather flashes, shall we say, just to distinguish the riders. But in the European Talent Cup, they've all got different liveries. They're all lining up with different teams as well. And one of the things I really liked when I was having a look around the paddock yesterday was we've got riders who are lining up with really impressive teams, such as the Realia Vintia Academy, really big teams, but also, as well, riders who are with smaller teams as well, perhaps competing with their father, and they've come over here and they've got the bike, and
Well, I know Dorna's brought all these bikes from the Asia Talent Cup, and like you said, father and son, they've probably bought the bike, put it in the back of their, van, just like the old days, and let's go racing. And that's what racing's all about, I think, is basically putting the spirit into it. And it's great seeing all these different teams and so many riders. That's what's good about it. How many riders?
We've got 25 lining up on the grid for today's race.
So full grid, and full grid of young 12, 13-year-old kids that want to win. So let's just hope this wind dials down, because it's the guys on the grid with the umbrellas are basically fine.
Yeah, they certainly are. There's Alex Toledo, rider number 55. Keep an eye out for him as well. He lines up 7th on the grid, and he could be a bit of an interesting catalyst in this race. And preparations just taking place before we get the green flag to go. And it is going to be one that is very, very exciting indeed. In the European Talent Cup, there will be 18 laps that these riders will have to do. And it's a very tricky circuit, this as well. Runs, of course, in a clockwise direction, but a lot of different changes. Of course, right-hand turns, left-hand turns, some fast kinks as well.
Yeah, when I raced here in 2014, the track was actually different. So they've actually repaved it and changed basically the first sector and last sector. Some people like it more than others, but I know the front straight's a little shorter, and the back, the last sector is a little safer than before. I think they did it also for safety reasons. But go ahead.
We've got this man here, Jamie Davis. He's the youngest rider in the field, just 12 years of age, lining up with the FAL 55 racing team. And I happened to be chatting to Hector Falbell, of course, team manager of the FAL 55 racing team. And he was so impressed with how Davis has done so far and how well he's adapted to this bike as well. He's looking really good out there and lining up in a good position on the grid as well.
No, definitely. In these categories, you get to see the young, the young coming ups. You get to see the young riders who actually, have a chance, and you'll see young talented riders that you'll think, oh, this guy is gonna be good. And these are the classes where you need to keep an eye out on them fast riders, and this is where Moto3 teams are all looking for new riders coming up, because all the Moto3 guys are going to move up to Moto2 in the next years. So.
Well, absolutely. And one of the real big incentives of this European Talent Cup is that one of the top 5 riders will make the step up to the Junior Moto3 World Championship in 2018 as well.
Yeah, you see, that's the same as Moto3. If you're going to be in the top 5, you're most likely going to go to the World Championship. And top 5 from last year are all in the World Championship. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It certainly is. And we've just had confirmation through about the tyres that all of the riders are going to be starting on. And a unanimous verdict from the top 10, all lining up on the medium times on front and rear.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if they have I'm not quite sure if the soft would work here. I think medium's the safest to go, and usually when most riders do it, everyone goes with that option. But anyways, I know these tires won't, they won't chew up much with these bikes. They're too small for them to be to rip apart. But anyways, 15. How many laps? 15 laps?
18 laps.
It should be fine.
Indeed, Francisco Gomez there, the number 9. He's set to be a very interesting man in this race. He's been training in pit bikes and in motocross in the off-season as well, and also raced in the RMFE Moto3 Championship last year. And we see a lot of riders who are doing this motocross training in the off-season. How much does that help the body, and how much does it help physically when you're riding?
Well, one of the main reasons is because in December, January, most of the racetracks close. Circuits, you know, so motocross and supermotor is basically the only other option to train on a motorcycle. So motocross, though, is a really dangerous sport. You always see these riders breaking bones, and because of all these, you know, kids trying to jump, and which we all love, you know, us racers. So, but it's a great way of training too, especially for upper body. It gets you really, but even for discipline's great, motocross, and I think most riders do it because it's the closest sport to road racing that we can have a good time on a motorcycle and keep fit.
Absolutely. We just saw Andrzej Vostatek, the Czech Republic rider, racing with the ETJ racing team for this season. Competed in Pre-Moto 3 last year, and looking good there on the motorcycle as well. And he lines up in 15th position on the grid. It's set to be a very, very exciting race as well. We've got, as we said, Maikon Gahara on the front row of the grid, starting in pole position. Let's run you through that grid now then. So it is Maikon Gahara, or Kawakami, as we shall refer to him now. The Brazilian rider who starts from pole position. Joan Uvinha is on alongside him. Andreas Perez in third position. Row 2 is Manuel Gonzalez, Simon Jesperson and Fal Cañero. Alex Toledo heads row 3. Miguel Parra, and then Jamie William Davis, the first Briton on the grid. He lines up in 9th position. Row 4, Iker Garcia, Edouard Melgar and Aurel Ney Velake. Row 5, Francisco Gomez, Stefano Kristin and Andrzej Vostatek. Heading back to row 7, Matthew Gregorio, Colin Feldwesthuizen, Callum James Blackwell in the number 57. He lines up in 21st position. Jack Hart as well, number 2, the Scottish rider. He is in row 8 in 22nd position. Victor Alonso and Samantha Johansson rounding out the grid order. So set to be a very, very exciting race. The grid now being cleared, and the riders will head up onto their warm-up lap to get crucial heat in their tyres there, Dakota. Yeah,
the sun's coming out now, and it's cloudy, so the sun keeps creeping in and out, but here we go, the warm-up lap. Warm-up lap's always super, super important for us to get them tires warm. You know, you don't want to be slowing around that lap, because as soon as you get on that grid and the lights go off, you're on go time. And our worst fear for a racer is basically having a cold tire and going in there, because you have just no expectation of crashing, especially with so many riders around you, and you're always afraid of someone in the back, you know, making a mistake or whatever and collecting you. So this lap's really important to get them heat in the tires, and you actually have to push. You know, I don't understand riders that don't push in a warm-up lap. You have to push because you need to create that, you know, heat in the tire. And then the poor guys that come around on the grid, and they're waiting there for the guys that are, you know, playing abouts on that warm-up lap. It's just not fair. I know in the World Championship they talk about that a lot. You know, there's a certain time limit that you need to do the lap, and but yeah, it's super important.
Absolutely. So the riders just on their warm-up lap to get that crucial heat into their Michelin tyres, and then we'll get this first round of the European Talent Cup in 2017 underway. And it's going to be Maikon Yuji Gahara Kawakami who starts the race from pole position. Alongside him will be Joan Uvinha and Andreas Perez. Keep an eye out for that front row, but also row 2 as well. Manuel Gonzalez, Simon Jesperson and Fal Cañero rounding out the second row of the grid. And any one of those two rows really could manage to get the whole shot in towards that first corner.
Yeah, I mean, with these light-weighted kids, I mean, even guy in third could, you know, get in the first, because it's for these guys the straight's pretty long. So any draft, you could draft about 4 or 5 bikes. And just like in Moto3, you know, I've seen so many races where guys have been 7th place and been all the way to first from the last corner to the first corner. So, yeah, you'll never know. Well, it'll be interesting. You just need to really have a good start here and here comes the first race of the season.
Indeed, yeah. Maikon Yuji Kawakami takes his pole position on the grid. A new era, a brand new dawn in the FIM CEV Repsol with the European Talent Cup. Riders making their places on the grid. The red flag man is at the front. We wait for that green flag to be waved once all of the riders are in their grid slots. And then we will get the European Talent Cup and the FIM CEV Repsol underway in 2017. Kawakami on pole. Yuvinya alongside him. Andreas Perez. We wait for the red lights to go on. The green flag is waved at the back. And the European Talent Cup in 2017 is underway. A great start from Yuvinya. Kawakami struggles to get away. And also Perez getting a good start as well as we head down towards the first corner for the first time. Looks like Yuvinya's got the whole shot. Or is it going to be Perez? Or is Kawakami going to fight back? It is going to be Perez by the looks of things into the first corner first here at Albacete. And thankfully everybody making it very cleanly through. So Andreas Perez leads the way. A brilliant start from all involved. And Kawakami there, Dakota, all the way down to 4th position off the opener. A bit of a bad start for him.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit bunched up in turn 1. But anyways, if you're in the top 5 here, you're going to be fine. This looks like it's going to be a big group, but it's just the early start of the race, so it'll be interesting to see. No, seems like everyone made it through okay, which is good.
Absolutely, yeah. Manuel Gonzalez now into 2nd place. It looks like Yuvinya's into 3rd, whilst Kawakami tries to make inroads into the group in front of him. But a great start from all involved. So yes, Yuvinya now in 3rd position, and he will trying to chase down the leaders. But leading the way, Andreas Perez. A great start from him on the opening lap here in Albacete as they come in towards the final part of the lap. A bit of a look up the inside there as Miguel Pata looks to try and make inroads in towards the top 5. Not able to quite do anything at the moment, but nonetheless making a good start. And now we come on to this slight straight where we're going to see a few slipstreams, and we're going to see a change of lead as well as Manuel Gonzalez hits the front. A brilliant getaway there from Manuel Gonzalez coming into the final sector of the lap, and it's all to play for with 5 riders battling for position as well. And Kawakami right at the back is in the pound seats here if anything does go wrong there, Dakota.
This is what racing's all about here. We love a little bit of battles, and this is what's great about these classes. You know, they're all so similar, and it's all about the rider. And here we go. Like I said, you know, slipstream's so important in this class. You can go from 3rd to 1st. So no, I mean, it's just early. There's still 17 laps to go. Oh, nice little shuffle there.
Indeed, yeah. Perez getting shuffled down the order now into 3rd position as Yuvinya goes past, but Gonzalez leads the way. Gonzalez leads the way. Here comes Perez, though, back up the inside of Yuvinya. Will he make the move stick? He's certainly thinking about it. Looks like he's got it done and dusted here for now. Now into 2nd place goes Perez, so Yuvinya down into 3rd position. Keep an eye out as well for Miguel Pata. He could prove to be a very interesting catalyst in this race. Meanwhile, all the riders towards the back end of this group now starting to bunch up as well. Just saw Alex Toledo on the number 55, sitting in about 6th or 7th. So leading the way at the moment is Andreas Perez. He's got the good start. He is lining up very well on the grid. And sitting in the lead of this race just by a couple of tenths of a second. It's certainly all to play for as Yuvinya looks to try and get a move. So it is Gonzalez who leads the way, not Perez, my mistake. So Gonzalez with the lead, the clear track out in front of him. And it's so difficult. We've seen this in Moto3 so many times, Dakota, to get that breakaway on these bikes.
Yeah, it's really tough because, like I said, you could be, you know, in the corners. You could, in sector 1 and 2, you could gain, you know, 0.3 or 0.4 and do that extra effort. But then in the 3rd sector where there's that little tiny straight, they'll just regain that, you know, 0.3 super quick and easy. So I'm not saying it's pointless, but you could, you know, unless you have a second lap of a difference, you ain't gonna, it's gonna be really tough to break away from these guys.
Indeed, Miguel Pata now moves himself up into 3rd position and looks like he's going to try and go for the lead in towards the 1st corner. Will he manage to outbreak Gonzalez? No, not quite. And Perez gets him back as well. So Pata stays in 3rd position on that opening corner. No, Pata now up into 2nd place by the looks of things. So a great start there from Pata. A good few opening laps, and he's going to try and hit the front already ahead of Gonzalez. Will he manage to make it stick? Not quite through there. Has to sit it up and has to hold on for another day. And now Perez has got some company from behind in 3rd position. But Gonzalez leading the way as they come in towards this middle sector. And even these short straights on these bikes, Dakota, it's really important to get that slipstream, isn't it?
I mean, you're easily going to gain at least 2.2, 0.3 easily on these bikes. And I'm watching over here, and they've already gone a second quicker from their best lap time this morning, which is this morning in warm-up in the dry. So the conditions are, full dry right now, and it looks like Toledo in 7th place has done the fastest time on a 40.8. But I'm sure those lap times are going to keep going down by, once they start settling in.
Indeed, yeah. Kawakami now right on the back of Perez for 3rd position as well, but still leading the way. It is Gonzalez ahead of Para at the moment. They come in towards the final pass of the lap through that quick right-handed kink and then into this chicane. It's a good overtaking spot, and on the brakes goes Miguel Para. He tries his way up the inside of Gonzalez. Will he make it stick? He runs it wide, but he holds the line, and now he moves up into the lead of the race. So a great start there from Miguel Para. Moves ahead of Manuel Gonzalez in the opening stages as the riders come over the timing line. There's a great slipstream battle going on for 4th position as well. They're all very, very close on circuit, as you can see. Jump start as well for number 26. That's Miguel Para. That's the leader. Unbelievable. So Miguel Para will have to go for a ride through, and that is effectively going to hand the lead to Manuel Gonzalez, if indeed he's able to hold on to it.
It's always a bad sign when you're going down the front. Here we go.
Here we go.
The replay.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's moved.
He has, yeah, crept way too early there from the 3rd row. The yellow flag came out as well as somebody was slow away. So Para leads the way, and now he's going to be trying to absolutely rocket away out in front on board.
It's going to be tough to get, because it's basically a 30-second penalty if you got to do a drive-through, and it's going to be tough to gain back those 30 seconds, especially in this class.
Yeah, it's going to drop him right towards the back of the grid. We can see there race duration handing out the board, meaning that Miguel Para will have a penalty. I wonder if he knew that before the start of the race.
I'm sure he did. I mean, it was pretty clear he moved before even the lights went off. So I'm not sure if he had a clutch issue or whatever. You never know. But it was pretty clear. I mean, he did do a jump start.
Indeed, Manuel Gonzalez then in 2nd place will become the inherited leader. There's some argy-bargy going on for 3rd position as well. In 3rd position currently it is Andreas Perez, who led, of course, for the opening stages. There was the pole man, now sitting in 4th position. This might
give Gonzalez a small break if as soon as Manuel has to come in for his pit lane. Not sure what lap it's going to be, but I think they give him 3 or 4 laps.
3 laps.
3 laps, yeah. Before he needs to go in. I'm sure they're putting it out on the signboard too. Because a lot of time us riders, we're so into the race, we don't even look at our boards or anything. And sometimes that could be a good thing, and sometimes that could be a bad thing. But what's good about this class is we're going to see so many passes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for these kids, when they move up to Moto3, it's great because they're already used to passing so many times, and they come so aggressive already. That's what Moto3 is, being aggressive and having to pass a lot.
Absolutely. Well, the top 5 really very close on circuit at the moment. Still leading the way, it is Para from Gonzalez. Meanwhile, Kawakami looks like he's got himself up into 3rd position, or at least he tried to, ahead of Perez. Yes, he is indeed. So Kawakami into 3rd place. Perez now down into 4th. The leader, Miguel Para, set the fastest lap last time around as well, a 1:40.451. But still, Gonzalez tries to find that way through.
Yeah, another second. Everyone's gone down. Like I said, more laps they do, the quicker they're going to be gone. Especially after riding in the rain for the past 3 days, and weather seems to be, good. Wind still picking up, but it doesn't seem to affect these boys right now. So,
yeah,
I wonder if Miguel Para is going to be in this lap.
Indeed, yeah, he must have seen the pit ball by now, but if not, it'll be displayed again as he comes over the timing line. I can see race direction from our commentary position, just displaying that board, so as soon as he comes over the line, he'll see it once again, I'm sure, if indeed he doesn't come in for this lap. But Gonzalez will effectively lead the way once he goes. There we go. So into the pit lane, will we see a few shakes of the head over the line? It is Gonzalez who leads the way. Miguel Para shaking the head, smacking the tank as well. He wasn't very happy at all, was he?
Typical rider. We all have the same, It's not a good feeling when you're leading the race and having to do a pit lane. Indeed. It's just not a good feeling.
Yeah, Perez now into 3rd position as Para goes out of pit lane and now right towards the back of the field. Don't think he's quite at the back, but nonetheless he is quite a way down, and it's going to be an uphill struggle from here on in. Meanwhile, that does mean that Manuel Gonzalez leads the way ahead of Maikon Kawakami in 2nd position. 3rd place at the moment Still being held on to by Perez, but he's going to have some company from behind as well in the form of the number 55 of Alex Toledo. Keep an eye out for him. There he is. Fastest lap he set last time around as well, a 140 flat. That's a very impressive pace on these machines. So Toledo in 5th position. Just in front of him is the Realia Vinti Academy machine of Andreas Perez. Looking great so far out on track. Competed in Moto3 for the 42 Motorsport team last year. That's Alex Rins's team, of course, who are also competing in the Moto3 category here in the CEV Repsol in 2017. Gonzalez, though, leads the way, but right on his back bumper now, or his rear fairing, I should probably say, is Kawakami once again. And Kawakami is going to be really trying to tuck in and try and make even maybe a little bit of a move into this chicane. Can't quite find the purchase, though. Can't quite find the way through for there.
Yeah, the front group's kind of split a little bit in 2 groups of 3. I think we should see here if the lap times, if they've shifted around at all. No, they're still, doing their 40s. Alex, again, another 40 flat. He's a fast. He's doing some good fast times here. I'm not quite sure what they did here in the test. I'm not quite sure what lap times they were doing, but I'm sure that they're not too far off.
Indeed, there is, or was, the leader, the number 26, of course, of Miguel Parra, now sitting right down in 9th position. So he didn't actually lose as much time as I thought he would. But
no, I mean, but the front group's actually, they're basically running 2 seconds quicker than the group behind them. So there's quite a big gap between the fast guys and the slower ones. But I'm 100% sure Parra won't make it to the front group. He's just too far away. And there's still 10 laps to go, but it'll be difficult.
Indeed. Nonetheless, a top 10 finish would be some form of consolation for him. Better than he would have thought, I'm sure. Maikon Kawakami in the lead of the race. Now, Simon Jespersen, the Danish rider, has come from, I want to say, absolutely nowhere, but he's been slowly creeping his way up the order over the last few laps. And he is now in 2nd position and already looking to challenge for the lead against Maikon Yuji Kawakami. Will he find the way through there? Can't quite find it and make it stick at the moment. But holding on very nicely as they come into this chicane. We've seen so many passing places, so many overtaking opportunities being presented in this race so far, and we're only 7 laps in, but Kawakami does manage to hold on to the lead for the time being.
See, in these races, I always want to kind of fast forward, to the last 3 laps, because the 3 laps are just going to be insane. There's probably going to be 20 passes in 2 corners, and that's that's what us fans love. All these exciting passing races, and it's what racing's all about.
Yeah, it certainly is. The top 4 look to have broken away just ever so slightly from Andreas Perez, who's now in 5th position and has got Johan Uvinha for company on behind as well. So keep an eye out for Uvinha. He
was rider. I hope he sees the blue flag.
Yeah, there we are. So just getting out of the way, there was the number 20, Samantha Johansson, the only female rider in the European Talent Cup in 2017. She's had a bit of a difficult berth into the championship so far, but of course it's early days as of yet, and we'll wait to see, I'm sure, her true potential as the season goes on. But it is leading the way, the number 43 now of Simon Jespersen, who's got himself ahead of Maikon Kawakami. So Kawakami now in 2nd place. Believe that graphic is incorrect, so we'll wait and see what's happening, but it does indeed look like, yes, Jespersen leading the way, Kawakami in 2nd place at the moment, and then Gonzalez holding on to 3rd position as well. But now he's got the number 55 of Alex Toledo, who's come from absolutely nowhere really to get himself on towards the tail end of this group. Some great racing going on as they come down the straight in towards the right-hander. And Toledo looking very, very menacing indeed on that number 18. He's with the Hal Courier Racing team. He's looking to try and find his way through against the number 18 of Gonzalez into the chicane. They can't quite make it stick at the moment. Meanwhile, Jespersen and the 2nd place man of Kawakami looks to have broken away ever so slightly from the 3rd place man of Gonzalez at the moment there, Dakota.
Yeah, you see every lap it looks like the front 2 are slowly making a break, but then after the last corner to the first corner, they're back in the same group. So like I said, it's going to be tough to break away in this front group, but it does seem like they've created a small little gap. But it'd be interesting to see if they can, keep hold. We just see Simon Jespersen. He just did a 39.8,
which is the fastest lap we've seen already.
So
Yeah, Simon Jespersen looking great out there, the Danish rider. We really weren't expecting this as well, because Jespersen qualified on the second row. He was in 5th position at the start of this race. Anything can happen in this type of racing. Runs it a little bit wide, though. Is that going to allow Kawakami a position up the inside? Indeed it does. So Kawakami takes the lead as they go into the left-hander. So a great bit of overtaking there from the Brazilian, and he now leads the way. Jespersen is in 2nd position.
And now the group's back together.
Absolutely, it really does change every lap. Lap 9 out of 18 we're on here at the European Talent Cup in the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. We thank you so much for joining us. The battle for first position is taking place. Kawakami leads the way ahead of the Danish rider Simon Jespersen, and now Alex Toledo has gotten himself ahead of Gonzalez and is up into 3rd position. And you're going to be interviewing one of these riders after the race there, Dakota. I imagine they'll...
I'm not very good at Denmark. I don't speak the Denmark language.
The Danish language.
Yeah. So I'll try my best, though.
Well, you speak pretty much every other language as well.
I do speak a few, but I still got a few more to go.
There we go. Over the timing line, it was very close between Kawakami and Jespersen. Will Jespersen find a way through into the first corner? No, not quite. Kawakami does continue to lead the way. There were just 700ths of a second separating them. Toledo in 3rd position. Gonzalez holding on to 4th. Very close behind, though, is Andreas Perez and Joan Uvina as well. This is very close indeed as Perez looks up the inside. Does he manage to get himself ahead of Gonzalez? Didn't quite see. Looks like he's managed to do so. So, yes, into 4th place for Perez. A great bit of overtaking there. Nice and clean, nice and sure for him.
On these bikes, it's so important to keep the RPM super high, because they don't have so much power. So especially when you see a guy making a mistake, that's why you see him shuffle back so fast. It's kind of like when you go with your friends karting. You know, the karts are all similar. They're not super fast, and slightly little mistakes cost so much. And that's what's great about these classes is it's really the rider and how much talent you have of not making those slightly little mistakes and keeping that RPM high whenever you need to, and keep focused.
Indeed, Joan Uvina set the fastest lap last time around, 1:39.557. That's the fastest lap we've seen here all weekend in Albacete. Of course, due to the weather conditions not helping that matter of fact. Meanwhile, Kawakami coming under pressure from behind as the Danish rider Jespersen looks to try and find a way through. Can't quite make it stick at the moment, but keep an eye out as well for this man, Joan Uvina. As I said, he was fastest last time around, and he's looking in good stead to try and get himself onto that podium charge as the riders come over the timing line. Now, just 7 and a bit laps remaining. A 1/10 of a second separating them as here comes Perez with a very late move up the inside, and he moves himself into 2nd place ahead of Jespersen. Will Jespersen fight back? No, he doesn't. So Perez now sits in 2nd place, and Kawakami holding on to the lead. So all positions changing, all very close indeed, and Perez is looking to try and take the first victory of the European Talent Cup in 2017.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm looking at poor Parra, running in 8th place right now, and he's basically doing 0.3 slower than the front group, and that's where he should be right now. And he's running alone right now. It seems like he's catching Gomez in 7th place, but at least, the good part about it is they get a 2nd race at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. 2 races here for the European Talent Cup today. The only category that's got 2 races here. And meanwhile, Jespersen looks to try and fight his way back against Parra. Will he find his way... Sorry, not against Parra, I apologise. Against Jespersen in 2nd place as the lap rider just gets out of the way, nicely obeying the blue flags. And now this battle continues onwards for 2nd place. They're going to be side by side down the straight, and they're going to be coming up against Kawakami before long. Meanwhile, Alex Toledo ducks out from under the bubble and looks to try and have a move. And goes down does Perez. Perez crashes out. He loses the front into the right-hander. That's a disaster there for the Spaniard. He will go no further in this race, and he is apocalyptically cross. A disaster there for Andreas Perez, Dakota.
Yeah, I think he went in there a little bit maybe a little bit too fast, and a typical, front end crash.
Here we go. Here's a replay.
I think he went underneath. Did he go underneath, Jespersen?
I think he was already ahead going into that corner.
Because he seemed to take a little tighter line, and if you take a tighter line, sometimes you have to lean the bike more, and that speed, you'll lose the front. But unfortunate with him, he was doing a good race.
Yeah, really big shame there for Andreas Perez. It now becomes a 3-way battle effectively at the front as Alex Toledo moves himself up into 2nd place. There's the Danish rider Simon Jespersen. He's looking great out there so far to try and take a podium with the Team Jespersen outfit on his opening race. He's just 15 years old. By comparison, the leader, Maikon Kawakami, is also 15, and he is looking in great contention so far. Alex Toledo just about trying to hold on to second place, but keeping it very close and very honest is Jespersen in third, as somebody else has gone down. That looks like it's the number 41. Is that Kevin Olmedo? Let's have a look. That's by the looks of things into the right-hander, so that looks like it could be the middle sector. Left-hander, sorry, into the middle sector of the lap. There it is. Kevin Almeida, the Estonian rider, goes down. A really big shame. He was the only Estonian rider competing in this race. He looks okay, and he is walking away, which is the main thing.
I think he high-sided here.
Here we go.
Oh, strange.
That was nasty. That was
very
really
strange.
The rear came round, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't even, it didn't even look like a normal high side. Very strange.
Indeed.
At least he's okay.
Yeah, we hope Kevin Almeida is okay and no further injuries from that. Meanwhile, Jespersen hits the front as they come over the timing line. They're side by side between Kawakami and Jespersen, and here comes Toledo as well, with just under 5 laps remaining here at the FIM CEV Repsol European Talent Cup Race 1, and hitting the front into turn 1 was Alex Toledo. So Toledo leads the way. Second place being held onto by Kawakami, Jespersen as well. Don't forget about Manuel Gonzalez and Joan Uvina, who could come nicely into play towards the end of this race.
You see, Toledo was basically in third, and when he crossed the finish line and went straight to first from at the first corner. So thinking in this race, and you're racing and you're thinking what's going to be the best position to be in for the last 3 corners, because you might get slipstreamed into first place. So I think right now the best position to be in would be third or second for that last lap. You don't really want to be leading at the last corner in the last lap, and but there's still 5 laps to go and anything could happen.
It certainly could. The European Talent Cup living up to much promise, and Kawakami looking to try and find his way through against Jespersen in second place. Meanwhile, we should mention the Britons as well that are competing in this. Jamie Davis is holding on to 13th position in this race, so he's dropped back a couple of positions after he qualified, and Jack Hard is sitting in 22nd place, whilst Callum Blackwell is just in front of him in 20th position, and set his personal best last time around as well.
Parra just went by to 7th place, and still running, half a sec, 0.3 from the top. So, and now basically the top 5 guys are in 39s. That's basically their lap by lap rhythm. Joan just did a 39.5, quickest time.
Yeah, indeed, the fastest time we've seen all race in towards the first section or sequence of corners, we should say. Alex Toledo leads the way. He's at the fastest level, 1:39.327. 13 laps out of 18 completed now on the 14th. Jespersen needs to try and find his way through once again ahead of Toledo. Great race going on this in the European Talent Cup, living up to much promise, much hype that we've seen throughout the 2017 pre-season. There was Jack Hart just in the front of your shot. He is the British rider, the Scottish rider competing in this championship, and I was chatting to his dad David yesterday, also the team manager of that outfit. You can see it's completely white with no sponsors, and they basically got the bike delivered a few days ago, shipped it out to Albacete, came here and raced it. No testing, nothing at all. So very impressive what he's doing.
No, like I said, just like in the old days, most riders were, mom and pops,
dad and lad,
yeah,
sort of thing.
And it's what racing's all about.
Indeed, yeah. Jack Hart just getting out of the way of the leading group. Fortunately, he has noticed them, so that's good riding there from Jack Hart. Meanwhile, Toledo and now Kawakami has been shuffled back a little bit as well, as Gonzalez, by the looks of things, has made his way through. Indeed, Gonzalez into second place. Jespersen looks to try and take the lead. Will he manage it? No, can't quite hold on to it for the moment. In towards the final sector of the lap. And that chicane there really has proven to be a very interesting overtaking spot there, Dakota, hasn't it?
Yes, by the looks of it, the problem is the finish line's not too far away from from the last corner, so you might have a chance of leading it from the last corner and actually winning the race and not getting slipstreamed.
There is Miguel Parra, of course, who led this race earlier on, sitting in 7th position so far.
Very lonely race for him right now.
Indeed, yeah, his nearest rival is 12 seconds up the road, so I think 7th is probably the best he's going to be able to manage. But nonetheless, a great recovery from the number 26. regardless. Born, of course, in Blans in Spain, and competed with the Junior Estrella Galicia team last year in the RMF Moto3 category. Meanwhile, Toledo holding on to the lead. Jespersen looking very, very menacing as they come down this straight into the right-hander. Here comes Gonzalez up the inside of Jespersen into second place for Manuel Gonzalez. A great bit of overtaking there, nice and clean, nice and up the inside. And all the while, these riders are putting pressure on each other, Dakota. I mean, how much do you feel that pressure when you've got a rider behind you?
When you're in a group like this, it's not as bad as when you're basically leading it and you got just one guy behind you, and your signboard keeps saying +0, +0, +0, and you're like, really? Okay, I'm gonna push a little bit more, and then you see +0 again, and you're like, listen, I can't take this anymore. You lead it for a while, you know, and it's like. But when you're in a group like this...
Oh, Gonzalez, sorry to cut in front of you there, Dakota. Around the outside of Toledo into the turn 13 chicane.
That turn 13 is going to be the corner to watch out for in that last lap, because if you lead it out of there, it looks like you're going to be, you know, winning the race. Because is that Efren? Was that Efren?
I think it was Efren Vasquez, wasn't it? Yeah, with the helping out. Indeed, yeah. Toledo hits the front as they come over the line. So Toledo leads the way from Gonzalez. Third position of Jespersen at the moment. Kawakami in fourth, and keep an eye out for Uvinia in fifth. He's been a bit quiet in this race over the last 10 laps or so, but nonetheless, he's proving to be a bit of an interesting catalyst so far. A great race going on in this European Talent Cup. Of course, all riders competing on board the Honda NSF 250R machines, just getting out of the way of a lap rider. 3 laps to go. Pick a winner for us, Dakota. It could be anybody's guess at this rate, couldn't it?
I love these games. I think my money's on Gonzalez.
Your money's on Gonzalez. That'll be interesting to see. Let's wait and find out what will happen as Kawakami looks up the inside. Meanwhile, Uvinia looks up the inside of Kawakami as they come through into the left-hander. My goodness me, this has been a very exciting race in the European Talent Cup. 3 laps remaining, or 2 1/4 now remaining, as Toledo leads the way.
This back straight right here is also very important, you know, especially the last lap. You're gonna see them kind of drifting like they're doing here, drifting to the right, so you don't get passed on the underneath. And you got to shut the door as most as possible to not let the door open for anyone to go underneath you. But like I said, turn 13, everyone's going to try to break deep, and try to get, you know, in front, because it's going to be really tough to pass between 13 and 14 because it's such a tight, you know, tight right-hander. And then off to the front straight, and then the finish line's really close, like I said, so it's going to be difficult to draft unless you're right behind the tail and have a much better, you know, exit.
Indeed, and often we'll see riders as well who will often try and plan their move a couple of laps before. You'll see them practicing, perhaps pulling out of that slipstream, won't we?
That's what's good about these group races like this, is you get to analyze what the quickest riders do, or where his weakest points are of the lap, and that's where you have to basically use your forte in that last lap and pass them where you're strongest, and when you were the weakest, you got to push that extra little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 laps now remaining. Alex Toledo leads the way in the first race in 2017 for the European Talent Cup. Second place being held on to by Manuel Gonzalez. Keep an eye out for him. He could be very, very interesting as Kawakami looks to try and find his way through, as Jespersen there in 4th place at number 43. It's just defending from Uvinia, very close behind as well, in towards the right-hander. They're going to be coming onto this back straight in just a couple of moments, Dakota. Through turn 10 we head now.
This is where Gonzalez needs to see where, if he can pass. Oh, nearly a high side.
Very big moment there for the number 83 of Kawakami. He holds on very nicely as they come down the back straight and in towards that turn 12. But Kawakami, that's going to unravel his confidence just a couple, isn't it? But
you don't want to show your cards too early, you know what I mean? And Gonzalez shouldn't...
Oh, Jespersen very late on the brakes there, didn't quite make it stick. So Gonzalez does hold on to second place, 2 laps to go.
I think Gonzalez is going to wait for the last lap to pass Toledo in that turn 13. Because we saw him pass him already their last, you know, few laps before. So basically, Toledo just did the fastest lap time.
Indeed.
39.3.
Final lap of racing here at the European Talent Cup for race 1. It is Toledo that leads the way from Gonzalez. Jespersen holding on to 3rd position at the moment. A great race it's been for the European Talent Cup. 5 riders battling for the lead. Here we go with Kawakami. He looks to try and find his way up against Jespersen into the podium position. Not quite for now. Jespersen holds on and now tries to get himself ahead of Gonzalez. Brilliant racing going on. Toledo looks like he's pretty comfortable out there in the lead of this race, but anything can happen, especially as we come on to this minor back straight and into that turn 7 King Dakota with that slipstream.
You need that slipstream. I mean, you need to be under that bubble as much as you can.
Oh, Gonzalez had a look, didn't he?
Toledo's really strong on the brakes, and nice outside pass.
Here comes Jespersen, though. He goes up the inside into second place as Gonzalez runs it a bit wide. Here we go. Who will lead on to the back straight? It's going to be very, very close indeed. Jespersen really wants this. You can see how hard he's working. Oh, and that's Uvinia goes off. Looks like he clipped the rear wheel of 83 of Kawakami. That's a big disaster for Uvinia. We were saying how well he did, and it all comes to nothing as he runs off into the gravel trap. A disaster then. Here we go with Jespersen into the turn 12 chicane. Will he mind it? Will he make the move stick? He goes into there. Will he go deep? He does. Will he get it back on the exit, though? This is incredibly close as we come onto the final corner here at the European Talent Cup. Who's going to lead the way across the line? It's going to be incredibly close. The checker flag is out, and it's Simon Jespersen that leads the way. 0.02 of a second separating him and Alex Toledo across the line. Manuel Gonzalez in third place, Maikon Kawakami in fourth, and Johan Uvinia comes home in a dejected 5th position.
Yeah, like I said, you know, that turn 13, if you lead out of that corner, you have a high chance of winning that race. And like we just saw with Jespersen, he made that good pass, went a little bit wide out of turn 13, but it don't matter because turn 14 is right there in front of you, and you got to take a tight line, so which makes it really difficult to go under someone to go underneath you.
Absolutely. Simon Jespersen, the first ever winner of the European Talent Cup in 2017. 0.02 of a second separating the top two as they came across the line. That is what we like to see in the European Talent Cup. Very, very exciting indeed. So Jespersen takes the victory. Alex Toledo in second place. Manuel Gonzalez in third. Johan Uvinia, the first Briton across the line, was Jamie Davis, who made his way up to 11th place. A brilliant result there for Davis. And further down the order as well, quite a few riders who I thought may feature in that race, perhaps didn't as much so. So it was really interesting to see how they all fared in the drive for the first time, Dakota.
Yeah, truthfully, there's like basically a group of 6 or 7 of them that are in the same lap times, and then we have another group that are about a second slower. But anything, you know, it's the first race of the season. Everyone's new to it. I think it's a great class, like I said, great battles, and this is what, you know, us race fans want to see, like we're seeing right now on TV. It's great to see. And next up, Moto2.
Absolutely, we're excited for this one.
I'm really excited for this one. I love Moto2. I raced here in 2014 for Team Aspar, and it'll be good to see all these different ones. And yes, like I said, there's some Americans, Joe Roberts and Jason, which should be good to talk about. I got to go run to the podium now.
Absolutely, yeah. Dakota's going to be interviewing Simon Jespersen, the first winner of the European Talent Cup in 2017. What a race it was for Simon Jespersen. A fantastic race in the European Talent Cup. Thank you so much to everybody who got in touch throughout the course of that race as well. Do feel free to get in touch with us. Let us know that you're watching wherever that may be in the world. And there he is, the victor, Simon Jespersen. What a race it has been. Let's have a look then as they came. This was the pass for the win as they went into the penultimate couple of corners. Jespersen just very late on the brakes, nice and up the inside. Ran it a bit wide, but managed to hold on, and he took the lead, and that is where he stayed by 0.02 of a second as they came across the line. So the Team Jespersen outfit congratulating him. The first win, I'm sure, of many for Simon Jespersen in his international career. A brilliant race in the European Talent Cup, and we'll be hearing from him in just a couple of moments' time as well. Shout out also, of course, to Alex Toledo. He drove a valiant race as well in second position, and Manuel Gonzalez in third. And of course, they'll all go up onto the podium. There is Alex Toledo, number 55. Spanish rider, of course, from Tarragona in Spain. Not based too far from Barcelona is Alex Toledo. And the crowd really did appreciate that race, as did we up here in the commentary box as well. So podium bits just taking place. Everybody looking very, very pleased, as you would begin to imagine. We'll get final confirmation of the results in just a couple of moments' time. So here we are then, final results of the European Talent Cup. Simon Jespersen wins the race ahead of Alex Toledo and Manuel Gonzalez. Maikon Kawakami was 4th position. Joan Uvinia with that dramatic last lap in 5th. Gomez Parra, who recovered to 7th after leading in the early stages. And Gregorio in 8th. Eduardo Melgar, the Spanish rider, finished 39 seconds adrift of the lead in 9th position. Just inside the top 10 was Alejandro Diez. Jamie William Davies was the first Briton across the line in 11th. Colin Veldt-Westhuizen is 12th. Stefano Christin was 13th. Andre Vostatek was 14th. Iker Garcia 15th. Vincent Falcone in 16th. Jose Suarez 17th. And then towards the back end of the grid, Callum James Blackwell was 19th. Jack Hart, the Scottish rider, he was 20th in his first race. Victor Alonso, Samantha Johansson round out the order with Val Cañero, Andreas Perez and Kevin Alejandro Olmedo failing to finish the race after what was a very, very exciting time in the European Talent Cup. And we'll be hearing, of course, from the winner, Simon Jespersen, in just a couple of moments' time. We're very, very excited to hear from Simon, find out his thoughts on the race, the 15-year-old taking the first victory of the 2017 European Talent Cup season here in the FIM CEV Repsol at Albacete. So parc ferme conditions, of course, now for the European Talent Cup riders. And here we are, let's hear from the victor. Well, there we are, Simon Jespersen, the winner of the first European Talent Cup race of the 2017. A brand new era dawns on the FIM CEV Repsol. Let's see the start. Maikon Kawakami got a bit of a poor one. It was Joan Uvinia from the front row who initially got the getaway, as Andreas Perez also made some good progress on the opening few corners of the race. Into the first corner they headed, and it was Uvinia who led the way. A great start from all involved, and all of them to make it through that first corner was certainly no easy feat. It looked like Perez had the overall advantage in the opening laps of the race, but Manuel Gonzalez got himself up into 2nd place. Meanwhile, here we go with Miguel Parra. He would eventually hit the front and got his way into the lead of the race. He looked very promising in the opening stages of the race as they came down into the first corner. There was some great action going on as Kawakami got himself ahead of Perez, who slipped back in the opening stages in spite of course leading. But there we saw a jump start penalty as well. A big, big shame there for Miguel Parra. He was very, very disappointed with that. We saw him creeping away, of course, across the line. Andreas Perez was battling with Alex Toledo in the latter stages of, or the middle stages of the race, I should say. But leading the way across the line was the number 43 of Simon Jespersen. Then Maikon Kawakami also looked very, very promising in the opening stages of the race as well. It was a great duel that we had on track between Jespersen and Kawakami as well, and Perez looked very menacing for a long time in that race as well. Looked like he could try and hit the front as Kawakami hit the front as they went into the left-hander. Very, very exciting race. It was a slipstream battle as they came down into the first corner. Perez tried to bite off more than he could chew and take 2 in 1. Didn't quite work, but managed to hold on to 2nd place as they went through into the right-hander, though it all came undone for Andreas Perez as he lost the front of his Honda, slid out of the race. The Realia Avintia Academy rider ending his day in the gravel. He was understandably very, very upset at that. It then became a 3-horse race out in front. between Alex Toledo, Maikon Kawakami and Simon Jespersen. A very, very exciting duel we saw between the two as well. There were position changes as Gonzalez tried to find his way around the outside of Toledo. He made it stick, but then ran a little bit wide and would then fade into the latter stages of the race to third position. They came across the line once more. There were some great slipstream battles going on. Toledo would hit the front. Gonzalez held on to second place. Jespersen also in third position as well. It became a 5-horse race for a bit of time as well, as Jespersen tried to get his way back against Toledo. This was great overtaking, some great racing that would go on into that right-hander, and Simon Jespersen would come across the line to take the victory by 0.02 of a second in the European Talent Cup. A brilliant victory, and as you can see, he was understandably delighted. Well, there we are. What a race we had there, Dakota. Very, very exciting indeed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now Simon, he's funny. It's funny to talk with such young riders. I'm like, God, I wish I was your age racing in this this thing. It looked great fun out there, and he had a big smile on his face, and he said it was definitely much more fun in the dry than in the wet.
Yeah, absolutely. He qualified very well in the wet, all the things considered. Riders now on the podium. Brilliant to see the rounds of applause from the crowd, and the constructors just getting their trophy as well. Simon Jespersen of Team Jespersen.
I think Albacete is famous for like knives or something, so I'm not sure if here they give them an Albacete knife or something.
Do they? Yeah, that doesn't explain what I saw. I saw something like that.
Yeah, they're very famous of making knives here.
I saw something in the media centre. I saw some knives. I thought, well, that's a bit strange to have in a media centre, isn't it? But that probably explains it. There we are. So, third place man of Manuel Gonzalez collects his trophy in third position. We'll do in just a few moments' time.
He don't take his gloves off. He's ready for the race too.
Exactly. He wants to keep going, doesn't he? Oh dear, second place man, Alex Toledo. It was a valiant effort from him to finish 0.02 of a second behind. But the winner, Simon Jespersen, what a race it would turn out to be for him. A brilliant race, a great way to start the Dane's career in the European Talent Cup. And he would come home to take the victory by 0.02 of a second. Fantastic racing we saw in the ETC. And of course, we've got one more race as well, just in case you have just joined us. One more race of the European Talent Cup to come. That will be at the end of the day, taking place just before 3 p.m. here this afternoon. Now, I do wonder, because these riders are a bit young, are they going to be able to spray champagne or something similar?
Nope.
No.
Might give them, they usually give them casera.
Casera?
It's kind of like a fizzy, fizzy water with lemon.
I see. Let's listen to the anthem, yes. Yeah.
El aplauso para los vencedores.
So there we are, Simon Jespersen, the victor, takes the first race, and of course those all-important 25 points to make an early lead in the championship as well. That's very, very exciting, and they have got that casera as well.
Yeah, but it's a great feeling, first race of the season and have 25 points in your pocket is just, a good feeling, even a good confidence boost for race 2.
I see. We just heard that, unfortunately, you didn't manage to catch the interview with Simon Jespersen as well. Looks like there were some problems with the microphone, unfortunately, up here in the common spots. We'll get on that for the second race. But there we are, championship standings. Simon Jespersen leads the way, 25 points, 5 points ahead of Alex Toledo. Manuel Gonzalez in third. Maikon Kawakami is fourth. Johan Uvenia fifth. Of course, these results reflect the results of the opening race. But race 2 is where we could see things getting pretty interesting, I reckon.
Well, now we already know, who's that front group, and we already know a little bit more about the, who's going to be up there, and hopefully there's no more jump starts, and hopefully Para, can be up there, and I'm sure he's, kicking himself in the head like most riders, would. But everyone makes a mistake. Who knows why he jump started it? Could be an issue with the bike, but yeah. Hopefully he has a better race in the second one.
Yes, indeed. So the European Moto2 Championship is on the way next here at the FIM CEV Repsol at Albacete. We're very, very excited for this one. It's going to be an enthralling race. Oh,
100%. I mean, we got Joe, so many new riders now. Joe Roberts from the US, and who I raced with last year as a teammate. And, so, again, so many ones from different countries, which is great to see. Steven Odenal this year in a different bike than last year.
So welcome back to the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. It's round one here from Albacete in southern Spain. We've just had an enthralling European Talent Cup race, and we move on to the European Moto2 Championship. This is going to be very, very exciting. As we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, it was very wet yesterday. Not so much today. Very dry, very nice, a bit windy, and a bit chilly in a few places.
Yeah, I spoke to most of the riders, and they said it was horrible conditions. It was too cold to ride, and as a rider, it's sometimes it ain't even fun to ride in the wet like that. So sun's out, track's completely dry, and it's good because Moto2 got to see this race before to see if there's any wet patches or anything, and clearly there's not. So they got a warm up this morning, which was 90% dry, we'll say. And I spoke to Joe, and he says that there's some good feelings, and they came here testing 2 weeks ago, so most riders will be putting that setup on the bike straight into this race, and that's what's going to be interesting. It's going to be a free-for-all in the first few laps. Turn 4 is going to be a little bit hairball. That tight, it's a tight right-hander, heavy braking after turn 1, 2, and 3. But hopefully they all make it through. And yeah, Steven had some issues yesterday on the in the wet. I think he had issues in the qualifying one.
Yeah, so he had a technical problem in qualifying one.
And then Q2 it rained harder, so it was harder for them to go quicker. But I'm sure he'll be up in the front. He just needs a good start and go with the front group.
Absolutely. Well, the 3.5 kilometre circuit here in Albacete plays host to round one of the European Moto2 Championship. Opened in 1990, of course, this Albacete circuit was modified a little bit later on as well to have a few changes in a couple of areas. But
I'm not sure if it's not the oldest track, but it's one of the top ranks in Spain of older tracks.
Yeah, because Catalonia opened in 1991, I believe. So.
Yeah. So there's Jarama. There's so many nice, great racetracks here that. A long time ago, Nietos used to race at, and I was talking yesterday to Curtis Roberts, Kenny Roberts' son, because I went to the U.S. Last year to race, and I was training at their ranch. They have a ranch over there in Modesto, and I was telling him that I was coming down here in Albacete to do some commentary work, and he's like, "Oh, Albacete, I love that place. I used to race there, in the times with Aspar." And he says there's a great place there for meat, and he was talking about the jamon, and that's what everyone looks at in Spain. So it was great to speak to him, and. But yeah, here we go, another race to go. This should be a good one.
Absolutely, yeah. All riders lining up on the grid, and it's said to be a very, very exciting race here in Albacete. There's a couple of changes and a couple of riders up the sharp end of the pecking order that we weren't perhaps expecting due to the wet weather yesterday. I've got the grid order here, and somebody who I wasn't expecting on the grid at all, because he wasn't on the provisional entry list, was Hafish Sayarin, of course, from the Moto2 World Championship.
Yeah, it was funny because I was talking to Joe, and Joe was like, "Man, did you see Sirens here?" And he's like, "He's in the World Championship. Why is he here?" And but I told him, "Listen, it's good because you get to ride with someone that has more experience than you, and it'll make you as a faster rider." So it's going to be definitely. But I was talking to the team, and he's basically doing some CEV rounds for practice because they didn't really have a good preseason testing because it rained in Valencia, so they're here basically using it as testing for the World Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we thank you ever so much for tuning in wherever it is that you are in the world here watching the FIM CEV Repsol. It's an exciting championship for the 2017 season. There is the poleman, Hafish Siren. Keep an eye out for him because he could be a very interesting man in this race. Lining up, of course, with the Petronas Calyx machine. There he is, slots himself into pole position. We'll run you through the grid order momentarily. But the Malaysian, of course, who wildcarded first in Moto2 in the World Championship in 2012. Of course, that particularly wet race where he would end up making an absolutely stonking start and was battling in the leading group right up until the end. And I think he finished in about third position at the end of that race, which is very, very exciting indeed. And, of course, made his World Championship debut about 2 years ago, did Hafish Siren, and is looking great out there so far to try and get himself up in and amongst the higher point-paying positions. And, of course, being a World Championship rider, we shouldn't really expect anything less than him being up towards the sharp end, Dakota.
Sorry, I just came back.
There we go. We were just talking about Hafish Siren and how competing in the CV, and we should expect him to be up the sharp end, given his World Championship status.
100%, you know, and he's a great rider in the rain, really fast rider in the rain, I know, and he actually did his fastest lap time in Q2 yesterday in the pouring rain when it was worse conditions. But he'll definitely be in the front, and like I said, he's using this as testing for the World Championship. I don't see why not. It's the best. Well,
that's Dimas Eki, who's got a bit of paper saying "speedy recovery, my friend." That's in reference to Alan Tesher, who had a
he had a bad crash,
nasty crash.
I hope he's okay out there. And where was it? Japan.
Somewhere in Japan. He was it Suzuka or something like that. He was testing, and had a really nasty crash. Did Alan Tesher? So we do wish him all the best, and nice to see Dimas Eki, the top Indonesian rider, starting from the front row. A brilliant qualifying for Dimas Eki, looking great out there, and obviously had his flip-flops on, not flip-flops on, rather, I should say flippers on yesterday in those wet weather conditions.
No, it's good. It's good also to see Hector up there and all these different names in the front because we're, last year seeing always Eric Granado and Steven always at the front because they're such fast riders, and it's kind of shift around a bit. But I think now in the dry conditions we should see the faster riders in the front, and like I said, you need a good start. Here's Joe Roberts, no hat, just letting the hair flow.
Is he doing that peace sign to you, do you reckon?
I'm not sure. He's like, make sure you talk good about me. I'm like, okay,
we'll
maybe.
See how
we'll see, yeah. Depends how you do in the race.
Absolutely. Joe Roberts, the brand new signing for the AGR team in 2017, has had a background racing in America, hasn't he? And
yeah, he actually was, he dominated the 600 class and Super Stock, and then rode for Super Sport last year. I think he finished fourth in the championship or something, and now he's moved to Moto2. I know he's been willing to come to Europe. Everyone's dreams to come to Europe and race because it's where basically everyone's kids' dreams are, basically to move to the World Championship. So, and I was speaking to him, and he just loves it here. Here's Eric Granado, the Brazilian.
Yeah, Granado in 6th position, and of course he had an amazing championship last year, was sitting right up in and amongst the best championship positions, battling with Odendahl and the like. Actually ended up finishing the championship in 4th position, so keep an eye out for him as well. And we have just got confirmation of the tyre choices as well for the Moto2 Championship in Europe, and we'll give you a full rundown of that in just a few moments. I noticed actually the track temperature has dropped ever so slightly compared to how hot it was for the start of the European Talent Cup race. It was 20 degrees and now it's 18 degrees. I mean, I know it's only a couple of degrees, but does it make that much of a difference?
20 to 18, not so much, but you know what makes a difference is the wind. Wind can actually affect a lot, but it shouldn't affect for 2 degrees right now, and as long as that sun keeps creeping in and out, they should be fine. I was talking to Joe, and I think most riders are running a softer front and medium rear. But it's, I think, like I said, 18 laps to this race, is it? And
20
laps
for the Moto2.
Okay, so yeah, he didn't complain much about tire issues around here. The lap is quite short. 1 minute 30. They should be doing probably 1 minute 32s in the dry or something similar to that. And but anyways, yeah, it was good to see Joe again after a few months back, and like I said, like I was saying earlier, he loves it here. It's so much. He was very happy, and yeah, you got to go for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries.
But yeah, we were just talking about Steven Odendaal as well, and he was looking great out there. I mean, yesterday, as you said, a few technical issues, lining up in 8th on the grid for the start of this Moto2 race. Yeah,
I was talking to him about his chassis. You know, he's running the NTS bike, and him knowing the Calyx so well from racing the past few years on that AGR team and running now the NTS, he actually wasn't complaining too much about the bike. He actually liked the chassis. He said the front actually feels really good. He can brake really deep on it, and they need to improve a little bit more the rear. That's the only thing. Here's Xavier Cardeluz, and the only Andorian basically rider on the grid right now, and he had actually an okay season last year. It's good to see him back here. Nice Alpine Star leathers. And yeah, another rider I want to talk about is Jason, Joe Roberts' teammate, another American. It's great to see us Americans out there, and we need more. But yeah, it's good to see basically Jason out there again. Last year he had an okay season. It was his first season last year in Moto2, coming from the US. Jason I was talking about, and it'll be interesting. Everyone's putting their gloves on, and it's soon going to be basically race to go.
Absolutely, yeah. Jason Uribe as well. He's looking great out there so far. I mean, he had
an okay season last year because it was his first. I think it was his first year, and you know, when you're here, it's new to you. Everything's new. The paddock. You know, you got to get through some things, and I think this year's his year that he needs to, you know, show and prove everyone his talent, and I know he's got some good talent.
Indeed, yeah. Here's the grid then. Hafiz Syahrin starts from pole position for the first time in 2017. Hector Garzo and the Indonesian rider Dimas Eki rounds out the first row. Brenner, Roberts, Granado on row 2. Augusto Fernandez, the reigning European champion, Steven Odendaal in the middle of row 3. Then further back, Federico Fellini, Xavier Cardeluz, David Sanchis is on row 4. Jason Uribe, Hiroki Ono, Greg Black on row 5. Row 6, Pontus Dierland, Jurka Mukuvka and Thomas Stig Vartsen on row 6. And towards the back of the grid, Marco Luna, Lucas Tolovic and Jamie Edwards, the first Briton on the grid and the only Briton on the grid in the European Moto2 Championship, riding the Nikos machine as well. Now, I've not heard too much about this bike, but I think it's they've been testing it over in Britain for quite some time. So
no, I haven't heard about it either. Was it here last year? I'm not.
It wasn't in the European Championship last year.
It was not. So,
but yeah, he was racing last year for Nikos, developing that bike basically. So they decided to bring it up to the international or the European stage.
Maybe it probably just needs some more time.
Absolutely, yeah. He's looking good out there, though, is Jamie as well. We'll have to catch up with him at some point and gather his thoughts on the bike and the team and the like.
Yeah, I was telling him, you know, earlier about Steven, about the NTS, how he wasn't complaining too much about that, you know, about that chassis. And he was actually saying how that front was feeling good on him. And he said he can brake a lot deeper than on the Calyx, which was surprising to hear. And they've actually brought a softer frame for this weekend.
Right, okay. That's really interesting.
So, and I'm not sure, he said they haven't used it yet in the wet conditions, but I wonder if they're using it here in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hafiz Syahrin, there he is, the pole man. Keep an eye out for him, the number 55, of course, also competing in the World Championship. Eric Granado on the second row could be very interesting, and the reigning champion Steven Odendaal in 8th position in the middle of row number 4. Keep an eye out for him. Sorry, row number 3, I should say, for Odendaal. So the green flag is waved at the back, and we wait for the riders to head off on their sighting lap. We thank you so much for tuning in to the FIM European Moto2 Championship here today.
It's great. We have a great front row of seats.
Indeed, we've got a fantastic view out of this country.
I wish you could show the people the seats everything out there.
Indeed, no room covers for us today, is it? It's great. This is really wonderful. So it's going to be a very interesting race, this, in the European Moto2 Championship. Hafiz Syahrin, Hector Garzo, Dimas Eki on the front row of the grid. And we should expect the order to change around a bit as well.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing down here on pit lane, I just saw Carmelo Morales. It's great to see Carmelo here, and I loved him, you know, commentating last year too for his Superbike races. Such a talented rider. He doesn't even, what's funny about him, he don't even look like a rider, but he's one of the fastest riders in the world, you know, on a big superbike. And unfortunately, we won't see him this weekend because he's racing, you know, there's no more superbike class here. It's now in the Spanish Championship. Yep. And I think he's actually running, I think he finished second in both of the other races. And he's actually got a really strong competitor from Chile.
Yeah.
That's won both races out there. So, but it's good to see him here. I think he's helping out a little bit the team.
Makes you wonder if he'll ever retire, doesn't it, Carmelo? Because he's not the youngest rider.
No. That's the problem. These riders never want to retire. Look at Valentino, 38 years old, leading the championship. Who would say that?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the oldest rider who will be competing, or was competing in the Moto2 class, in the Stock 600 class, because there are 2 Stock 600 entries in Moto2, was 59 years old. Philippe Legallo.
Great.
The Frenchman. Unbelievable. 59 years. If I'm able to raise a smile, let alone my leg over a motorcycle at 59 years old, I'll be quite impressed with that.
Maybe he's just telling his wife, hey, I'm just going to go out with the boys and have some fun.
Just go for a nice Sunday drive, darling. That's it. So there we are. The grid lines up here at Albacete. 20 laps await the European Moto2 riders. And there is the man on pole position, Hafish Sairin from Malaysia, the number 55. Not the same bike he races in the World Championship, this one. Slightly different. We'll talk more about that later, but it's going to be interesting to see who will get the drag down towards turn 1. Your front row again, Hafish Sairin, Hector Garzo and Dimas Eki.
He'll also have the less pressure out of everyone, because I'm sure he won't do the whole championship.
Yes, indeed. The green flag then is waved at the back. The 5 red lights come on and they go away now. European Moto2 in 2017 is going. Looks like it was a good start from Sairin, but Hector Garzo got a great getaway as well as we lead the way down in towards turn 1. Who's going to lead? It is going to be Sairin from Garzo. Brilliantly close as well in the middle of the pack. Was that one of the AGR bikes up there, or was that perhaps Odendahl? Looks like it was very close. It's Dimas Eki in 3rd place. Granado is into 4th, and Odendahl's only the 5th place off the start as well.
It was Joe going a little deep in turn 1.
Yes, indeed. So Hafish Sairin leads the way. He's got a couple of tenths of a second. In the 2nd place at the moment is still Hector Garzo, the Spaniard. He's looking great out there so far on circuit as the riders come through onto that mini back straight. Of course, these machines are that much quicker, so it won't have that much of an effect with the slipstream. But Dimas Eki, the Indonesian rider, in 3rd place. 4th position, Granado, the man who finished, of course, 4th in the European Moto2 Championship last year. Keep an eye out for him. But I'm very impressed with Dimas Eki holding that position off the start there.
Yeah, Dimas had a great start too, but Hector had it looked like he had a good jump start. Like, not a jump start, but a good jump out of the start. And I thought he was going to make...
Oh, somebody's gone down. That's David Sanchez. That's a real big shame there for Sanchez. He started a bit of a way down the order, and his race will go no further than the opening lap. Here's a replay. Let's see what happened for Sanchez. Oh, dear. That was a nasty high side, wasn't it?
It looked like he... It looked like he may have put false neutral and then put the gear in, because it high-sided it.
That was a really weird place to high-side as well.
Into the corner, not even outside of the corner. So, very strange.
Indeed, yeah. Hafish Sairin then leads the way over the timeline for the first lap to be completed here in Albacete. Hector Garzo in 2nd place. Dimas Eki, who said before this weekend that he wanted to challenge for the championship and take his first podium position. Well, on lap 2 out of 20, he's in a prime position for that. Meanwhile, Stephen Odendahl, as Eki gets all out of shape, is in 4th place. That's a great start there. We were a bit worried if he wasn't going to get a good start.
Yeah, he needs to get a move on and try to pass Dimas and Hector as quick as possible, because he doesn't want to let, Sairin get away, and because Sairin's already got like a point, he's already got a 2nd gap.
He has indeed, yeah. So 2 laps out of 20 we're on. Lap 2 with Sairin leading the way. There he is, the Petronas machine, the number 55, the Malaysian rider, sliding his way into that corner. It's so interesting to know the different riding styles on these Moto2 bikes as well.
Yeah, Moto2, look at how it's amazing during the years how much everyone's leaning more and more the bike. Now you see people touching elbows and shoulders and on the ground, and people are asking me, how is it possible? And it's like, it's basically grip. They have so much grip, these bikes, and it's incredible how much lean angle you can actually carry.
It really is. Hector Garzo there in 2nd place, the number 14. So it's the top 3 actually who have stayed where they qualified. So Sairin, Garzo and Eki. That's really impressive actually as well. No change in the top 3.
I'm surprised Stephen ain't, it seems like he's struggling to pass a little bit of Granado.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually dropped.
Granado's actually passed him. So I'm not sure if he made a mistake, but and Joe Roberts is running in 8th in the back of that group.
Well, that's great. He was, where was he this morning in warm-up? He was inside the top 10, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, I think he was in like 6th or something this morning, but he had a good feeling with the bike, but the conditions weren't the best, and they only got, 15 minutes of warm-up, so you can't really count that.
Indeed, he was actually in 4th place was Roberts this morning in warm-up, so that's really impressive. Meanwhile, his teammate Uribe in the All-American lineup for AGR was 13th as well, so that's a good start for both of those riders. Eki now in 3rd place. Keep an eye out for Granado there with the fluorescent yellow helmet. He's in 4th, being chased down by Stephen Odendahl, the reigning European Championship. Don't forget, new bike and new team for him this year. He's on the NTS chassis that Alan Tesher did so well on last year, and they're hoping, I believe, to bring that chassis up to the World Championship stage before too long.
So Garza's actually, Hector's the only one really to match Cyrene's lap time with the 33. The rest of the field are basically on 34s, so 33.8 is actually what Hector just did. Be interesting to see if he can, how much quicker they go from that lap time. I'm sure they'll go a lot quicker, maybe a couple seconds, but here's Joe trying to get by.
Marcel Brenner. Yeah, Marcel Brenner is trying to get himself ahead of. Can't quite find the way through at the moment. Meanwhile, the top 2 have kind of broken away of Cyrene and Garzo at the moment. They're sort of leaving Eki a little bit for dead at the moment, as Odendahl, sorry, not Odendahl, I should say. That's the AGR bike of Roberts, rather. It's difficult to distinguish the two. I'm so used to saying...
confused, yeah.
So used to saying Odendahl's on the AGR team. Of course, who he was with for so many years as well. But there is Hector Garzo in 2nd position as the bikes come streaming over the timing line into that 1st, 2nd and 3rd corner.
He's riding really good, actually. I mean, surprisingly, he's really fast. He's already in the back of Cyrene, who had a 2nd gap from him about 2 laps ago. So, and he just did the fastest lap time of the race, 33.1 again, low 33s, and the rest of the fields are on high 33s. So.
Indeed, yeah. Well, Hector Garzo, of course, has made that step up as well this year, hasn't he? I believe from the Moto3 Championship into the European Moto2 Championship as well. So that's a really impressive feat, considering it's probably his first leg over on the Moto2 bike for this year.
Sometimes you'll see people struggle in Moto3, and then they jump on the Moto2 bike and they'll actually be really quick, or a lot quicker than what they were in Moto3. Example in the World Championship is Fabio Quartararo. You know, the Frenchman. He was super fast in 125 when he was racing the Spanish Championship back in the day. Then he went up to Moto3, struggled a bit, started becoming big, you know, as a kid. And then now he's in Moto2 and he's finishing top 8, which is incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. Battling for the podium is Hector Garzo, and now closing up on the back of Cyrene as well. Let's have a look at the lap times last time around. And Garzo was quick at 0.4 of a second.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he gained that 1 second gap that he had behind Cyrene, which is really good.
Yes, indeed. The pitboard out for Cyrene, telling him to push, 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 as we can see from his mechanic there as well. So Garzo in 2nd place, Eki in 3rd place, Odendahl into P5. He won't be happy with that, of course. And this time, last season, he took a 2nd position in the opening round, although it was, of course, at Valencia. But he won here last time in Albacete.
He just went by. Is that Granado? Yeah, he just went by Granado, I think. And. The problem is this track's really tough to pass. It's a small track, so sometimes what happens is you get stuck behind a rider, and once you get stuck behind a rider, it's hard to go by them, and then what happens is you lose that gap with the front group. And actually, I just made a mistake. He did not pass Granado. Yeah, Odendahl actually has shuffled back a bit, and Granado's actually caught Eki right now. So Granado seems to be doing quick. Yeah, Granado's the only one with a similar lap time as the front 2, with the 33.2, 33.1 from Hector. So I think he might have a chance of catching the front 2 if he can get by Eki soon.
Yeah, indeed. 5 laps out of 20 completed here in Albacete into that turn 12 chicane, where we saw so many passes taking place in the European Talent Cup. And of course, after this, we've got the Moto3 race with a 45 rider grid. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be very interesting and pretty hairy, I'm sure, into that corner. Cyrene leads the way, 0.2 of a second ahead of Garzo over the timing line. Eki, 3rd position. Granado closing that gap now as well, trying to get himself up into the podium. And Odendahl now is actually dropped back into the clutches of Brenner by the looks of things. Yeah, Marcel Brenner there on the right, number 46. Is closing right up, so it's NTS versus Kalex Chassis in this respect as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Odendahl, because he had a really good feeling, he said, in the dry. And he said that he had a good feeling and thought he could run in the in the front. So he might be having some issues. You never know. But these two right here are having a good portion, and they're actually the only riders on a 33 flat right now. And Eric also. I mean, Eric is not too far off their lap times. The problem is he's stuck. He's stuck behind that Eki, and he needs to get by him soon if he wants to try to win the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, here he's trying. You see, like I said, it's tough, this track, especially on a Moto2 bike. It's really tough to pass, and there's not a lot of areas, braking areas, where you can pass.
Yeah, absolutely. We can really see that now as Granado trying to hang it out. And really interesting to see Granado on that motorcycle as well. Look how much he hangs off it compared to Eki as well. They've both got very distinguished riding styles as they head into this turn 12 chicane. And Granado really hanging off of his Kalex. Looking great out there so far on track for the Promo Racing team. The team, of course, that he did compete with last year in the European Moto2 Championship, so he's in a familiar surrounding, unlike, of course, Odendahl, who's in a brand new team, brand new surroundings, brand new bike, brand new everything pretty much. And is now sitting in 5th position for Odendahl, so Siren leads the way.
Siren seems to get a little gap right now. He's got a 0.3 gap from Hector. And then we got Eric doing the same lap time as basically Garzo. Garzo, yeah. What a name.
Hector Garzo. I'm not sure. It sounds Mexican, doesn't it?
Yeah,
name,
it does. It doesn't sound Spanish.
No, it's not a particularly Spanish sounding name, but there we are. I mean, Eric Granado, I should say, of course, he's a Brazilian rider. Yeah, yep. Exactly. So there's quite a few sort of different names, and Odendahl, the only South African,
he's trying to get
right on the rear end of Eki.
There we go.
Yeah, forces him into a mistake, forces him to go wide. That was a brilliant bit of overtaking there from Eric Granado. So now down into the podium.
Now he needs to get, keep his head down and try to gain that gap back from Gartho.
Indeed, yeah, we know we've got quite a few Indonesian followers who love watching the Indonesian rider Dimas Eki, and of course the Asian riders that are in the Moto3 Junior World Championship, of course, as well. And Dimas Eki now into 4th place, which would be a great result for Eki as well. I'm just going to have a look back and see where he finished. Best result last season, so this would be easily his best result of the season compared to 2016. His best result last year were 2 5th places. So
that'd be, And here's where you can tell where, look, Siren just made a 32, 32. Now he's in the 32s, and he's the only rider on a 32.9. And this is where you can tell a World Championship rider who can keep a really strong pace for all 20 laps. And like I said to Joe, learn from him, learn from his riding, and have it. If you have a chance, follow him on track, and because he is a really fast rider, and he's actually been. I've seen him in the top 10 recently, and now he's riding here in the Spanish Championship for practice, and it's great to see. Great to see him here. Oh, look at that front chatter.
Oh, I'll tell you what, a bike I want to watch to see front chatter is the Transformers machine as well. Because that thing chatters like there is no tomorrow, being ridden this year by Greg Black and Thomas Sigvartsen. So if we do get a close-up of that machine, because that's it's a very unique design, it doesn't have normal front forks, does it?
Yeah, I saw that. I think last year Ricky Carduce was running it in the Spanish over here, and he was telling me that the only thing good about it is you can brake really, really deep. And that's it. He says the rest, it needs time and it's struggling, which is normal. Brand new bike, it ain't gonna be in top of the field right away. So, but it's good. It's great to see different types of bike out there, not always the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just Kalex's.
Exactly.
And we do see a few different manufacturers. And it's great to see other manufacturers having a go as well, such as the Transformers outfit, and likewise the NTS team. And we've also got a Tech 3 chassis, which is what Hector Garzo is on, I believe, as well. So that's really impressive for Garzo if he's on a Tech 3.
Tech 3 don't run too bad. Last year Hector, and I think last year, 2 years ago, also Vierge, who's now in the World Championship for Tech 3. They were always in the top 3, top 4, top 5. So it's not a bad bike. Now Remy Gardner, a really good friend of mine, Remy Gardner, who's running in the World Championship in Tech 3. I was asking him because he ran a Calyx in last year, 2016, and now he's in the Tech 3 bike. And I said, how is that bike? He says, it's not bad. It's not too far off. They just need more time on it.
Meanwhile, there's a great battle going on between Marcel Brenner and Augusto Fernandez. Fernandez in the Easy Race Moto2 team. Brenner on the number 46. He is in the H43 team, the Hernandez outfit, and he's currently sitting just ahead of Fernandez at the moment. This is incredibly close between those two.
Joe seems to be struggling, or something's wrong, because he did a 34.2 the last lap, and he's actually lost that gap to 7th place.
My apologies, actually, it's Fernandez rather ahead of Brenner, I should say, at the moment. So Fernandez on that black Suter chassis, which I believe, indeed, it is the only Suter in the field. Doing a good job there, actually, it's battling for 6th position as well, because we know that Suter is perhaps not as easy to set up in the difficult conditions that we've had this weekend.
No, especially it's the only Suter out there right now, and there's not many left anywhere. There's all Calyxes now, or Tech 3 bikes, and me running a Suter in 2014, I could say that it wasn't as bad as a bike, that year. It wasn't too bad. The problem was we were running Michelin, so everything was different. Now with Dunlop, I think it's made it better. But the main issue always said about the Suter is always front chatter. Everyone was always complaining about having too much front chatter on that Suter, and Calyx always seemed to not have that bad.
Yeah, and just for those who are perhaps new to motorcycle racing, they've never watched CEV before, what is front chatter?
Basically, you'll see it in some of the corners is where you see that front end basically, I don't know how you would say it, chattering. So just bouncing
up and down.
Yeah, but really fast. And it's a really bad feeling because basically you feel like you're going to lose the front anytime because the front's just, wobbling in all the way into the corner. And it's a lot easier to lose the front that way. And the deeper you brake, the more increasement of chattering you get. So it's always that fine line where the team was trying to make me use the rear brake before putting the front brake on, braking into the corners, to try to settle the bike from the back to the front, which helped, but that means you have to change your riding style completely, right?
Thing,
So it's not just riding a bike. There's a million things you have to do riding a bike like that and changing your riding style. And here's Ondendal trying to get through.
He's ahead of Eki now, so he's into 4th place. Is Ondendal. Will Eki fight back as they come through the first corner? He looks like he did. Yes, Eki cuts his nose off. So Eki holds on to 4th place. Ondendal, the reigning champion, is in P5 at the moment. Lap 11 out of 29 remaining here in Albacete. Very close between these two. They're really very close on the circuit. And their last lap times as well were separated very closely. But Ondendal was quicker by 0.3 of a second compared to Eki as well. So he really closed the gap on that last lap in this battle for 4th.
Like I said, it's not an easy place to pass, and now Ondendal's kind of getting a little frustrated. It's easy to get frustrated as a rider to try to pass someone when you can't in a racetrack. Like here's the same move.
Yeah, up the inside, elbow down. I love Ondendal's riding style. It's so unique in the way that he just hangs so far off that motorcycle, and he moves himself up into 4th position, does the reigning champion, and now his next target will be the Brazilian Eric Granado.
It'd be interesting to see if you can catch him. I mean, out of all the riders, I think Ondendal is one of the best out there, and I think he is one of the only ones that is capable to, focus and start doing fast lap times and catch Granado. That's right now he's running about 1.1 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, indeed. So a bit of a gap to make up there for Stephen Ondendal to come on to the start-finish straight and over the timing line once again. Siren now has gapped Garzo, so Garzo sits in 2nd place, 1.7 seconds behind, and now Granado's kind of in a race all on his own, really, isn't he, in 3rd position? He's just kind of lapping there consistently and comfortably, but now he's in a good position, he's in that podium. How difficult is it to lose that concentration when you're just out there riding on your own?
It's very difficult, especially when you have a signboard that says 1 second Ondendal behind you. If you know that guy's behind you, you got to keep your toes, you got to keep it on the toes. And I'm actually surprised. Garzo's actually doing really good lap times. He's only running 1/10 or the same lap time as Cyrene, and who's only 1.7 seconds ahead. So don't think that battle's over just yet. Anything could happen. But I love Odenal, how much he backs it in those corners on.
It's really a very
there's another
time.
pass into that.
Yeah, indeed.
Turn 8.
Yeah, indeed. Eki moves down a position, so Eki now into P6, I believe. Yes, indeed. So Augusto Fernandez moves himself up ahead, and that's a really impressive ride from Augusto Fernandez as well. I mean, considering where he was last season as well, and Fernandez.
Here's that pass.
Was P5.
You open that little gap and.
Set him up, didn't he?
Impressive.
Yeah, that was a really nice move, though, from Augusto Fernandez. Got himself up the inside. Certainly showed that he's not going to be messed with this year, did the Spaniards?
No, I mean, and that's the second pass he's made in that corner, so I think he's not going to let that gap open anymore in that corner anymore.
Yes, indeed. So lap 13 out of 20 here at the Albacete circuit. It's round 1 of the European Moto2 Championship. Stephen Odendaal, the reigning champion, currently sits in P4. The nearest rider ahead of him is Eric Granado. There he is, the number 51 with the fluorescent yellow helmet. He's got a very distinguishable livery on his persona, shall we say.
Yeah, Granado just did a 34.0 this last lap, and Odendaal just did a 33.6. So he just gained 0.4 of a second in just one lap.
Odendaal got the hammer down, as he likes to say, full gas 44 for
there
him.
You go, and that he wants that podium as bad as Granado, so it'll be good to see if he catches him. I'm sure he will in 7 laps to go, so it's going to be another good battle for 3rd place for that podium spot.
Indeed. Interesting to note he's not running the number 1 this year as well, despite being the reigning champion. Yeah,
I mean, it is a choice of the rider. I know a lot of riders don't like running the number 1. Superstitions, or us riders have so many superstitions, so it could be that, but maybe just wanted to stick with 44, his number from forever. So
yeah, absolutely.
But we all know that he is number 1, and that's what he was saying.
This is it. No, it's really good to chat to him in the pit lane this morning. Stephen Odendaal said that, as you mentioned earlier, Dakota, the front end of that bike is brilliant. He said it's just rear grip where they need to work on, really. That's their issue at the moment.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said the front end was really good. He just need to work on the rear, but he did say they had a new chassis to try out. They haven't tried it out yet, so who knows if that chassis might help that rear grip that they need. I'm not sure if they've used it in this race, but it'll be interesting to see during the season if he's improved or if he improves and wins and beats Siren. I'm not sure how many more races Siren's going to be doing this year. I'm not sure if he can do all of them because of the MotoGP World Championship schedule. But it's great to see someone from the World Championship out here, and truly you see how much level World Championship has.
Absolutely. Hafiz Siren looking to take his first win as a plastic bag rolls across the track. There we are. Somebody's been to Mercadona or something like that, haven't they? There we go. Hafiz Siren leads the way, the number 55. A great race for the Malaysian. 6 laps remaining, or 5.5 now, should we say, and he is comfortably ahead by over 3.7 seconds ahead of Hector Garzo.
Another 0.4 Odendaal just got from Granado, so he's slowly reeling him in. And I know, as a rider, Granado's getting that signboard, and it's going lower and lower, and he's going, no, stay away.
Yeah, you can see how close they are, actually, just in the background of the shot we saw there. So Odendaal really has got the magnets on now.
Can I just say something? Garza's running a great race. He's all alone right now, but I mean, he ain't too far off the pace. He's the only one really running really comfortable mid-33s. Siren is in low 33s, but and Granado is running high 33s with Odendaal running mid-33s too. So it's great to see Garzo up there in the front this year. It seems like he feels more comfortable on the bike. Not sure, what did he last year?
He raced in the Moto2 Championship.
Okay.
Sorry, no, apologies. No, Moto3 production class. Actually,
so
last year. So
he's actually a really talented Moto2 rider.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really impressive feat for Hector Garzo. Really impressive change over to the Moto2 machine, because there's such a big difference between these Moto3 and Moto2 bikes, isn't there?
Totally, because I actually got the chance to try out a World Championship Moto3 bike in Aragon last year, and obviously I was not overweight. I was basically the weight to be on a Moto2 bike. So when I got on a Moto3 bike, the thing felt so slow. I mean, it felt so slow and just like needed more power. I'm like, where's the power on this thing? And it's true. It's all about corner speed and braking and And then I was like, yeah, I want to go back on this Moto2 bike. So most kids that go from Moto3 to Moto2 do not want to go back down to Moto3.
No, I can well imagine. Stephen Odendaal, it looks like he's going to try and take Augusto Fernandez with him as well. That's going to be a very impressive feat for Fernandez as well.
Oh, yeah. If Fernandez can get a tow from Odendaal, it would be great. And it would be really smart from him because he's going to have Odendaal do all the work.
Indeed, yeah. Fernandez actually finished in 5th position in the championship last year as well, which is a very impressive feat. Meanwhile, Granado, the Brazilian rider, holding on to that final podium position with his Calyx machine. Of course, all of these riders using the Honda CBR 600RR engine.
Another 0.3.
Indeed, yeah. Odendaal really piling the pressure on to Granado.
0.6 behind now.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it?
So, yeah,
when, not if.
5 laps to go. So, I mean, and the last 5 tenths, the closer you get, the faster you're going to get closer to him. So, it's going to be a good battle for that podium for the last few laps now with, Granado, Odendaal, and Fernandez.
Absolutely, yeah. There is Hector Garzo, the man in 2nd place. What a race he's ridden. And there are his team. Of course, they look pretty calm and collected at the moment, don't they? I would imagine they would
Very
do as well.
lonely race.
Indeed, another man who's in a lonely race is this man here, the leader, Hafiz.
See that front chatter? I was just explaining, earlier. You'll see it into that turn 8 right there. Is the front? You'll see it bounce around really quick. That's that front chatter, and even Calyxes get it. I mean, most bikes get it. You'll even see Marc Marquez on that MotoGP bike. He'll get it, and it's not a great feeling because even your arms kind of like get tired of it. Not saying like motocross, but it's a similar feeling.
I mean, it's what cost Valentino Rossi the championship in 2006, or so he says, of course, when you look at what he said, it was chatter on the bike, but it was rear chatter, not front chatter.
No, so we also get rear chatter.
Yeah,
and
all types of chatter.
Yeah. The problem is, these guys are doing such fast lap times, and they're always on the limit. And when you're on the limit, you try to find that fine line of trying to get less chatter here, more grip here, and hope. Odendaal just going to try to pass Granado into turn 1.
Down the straight into the first corner. Odendaal brakes late. The back end comes out. He moves up the inside. Odendaal into the podium position here at Albacete. A fantastic overtake there from the reigning champion. Will Granado fight back? Will Fernandez get involved in this as well? And now 3-way battle for 3rd in the closing stages of this race with Odendaal at the helm at the moment. And Fernandez looking very close there on the black Suter machine, trying to find his way through. And what's impressive about this, Dakota, 3 different chassis, 3 different riders, and a very, very impressive battle, all interlocks in as one.
This is great. This is great to see. That just shows you how now Calyx is not just the leading chassis out there. You could have any, type and it works. So there's no excuses. And it'll be interesting to see if Granado can stay with Odendaal in these few laps. And if you see he's struggling, then Fernandez better, try to pass him because it's going to be a hard gap to get back if Odendaal creates one.
Yes, indeed. So Odendaal sits in 3rd place, but the 3 riders, I should say, all so close together. You can only really see one as they go onto that back straight, into that right-hander. It's a very long, sweeping right-hander, that one, before they head into this turn 12 and 13 chicane. Very, very close it is between them. Just a couple of hundredths of a second separating them. But it'll be interesting to see the difference in lap times as well. And although the slipstream isn't quite as effective in the Moto2 bikes as it is on the Moto3 machines, it is certainly going to help out quite a lot with Fernandez as they come down the straight.
I think Fernandez is going to try to pass here because Granado seems to... I mean, I'm not saying he's not as quick, but he seems to be struggling to stay right behind Odendahl's wheel. So it'll be interesting to see if Fernandez now can get right back behind him and Granado can basically kill himself with him.
Indeed, yeah. And as Augusto Fernandez, who finished 5th in the championship last year, moves himself up into 4th, Granado now down into P5 in this race. And Fernandez really is on a mission, isn't he? He's closed right up onto the back of Stephen Odendaal.
He's like a complete different rider from the beginning of the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's found some extra grip or something, but it's great to see this. And Odendaal doesn't have that 3rd position quite yet.
Stephen Odendaal, the reigning European champion, with Fernandez up the inside. Did Fernandez make it through to that corner? Yes, he did. So Fernandez moves on to the podium. Brilliant result from the Suter rider, racing with the Easy Race Moto2 team and the NTS chassis. Stephen Odendaal moves down into P4. A great battle going on between these two. And now, of course, if these two do end up coming to blows, it'll be Christmas come early for Granado.
No, 100%. Granado seems to be, struggling to try to stay with him. he's backing in a lot more than these two in the front here, and but it's great to see Fernandez back up there, and he's actually running quite fast, and actually he might pull away a little bit.
Indeed, yeah, he's only 20 years old, is Augusto Fernandez. In fact, 19 years old, I apologise. Same year that I was born.
Really?
There we go, you see. Siren leads the way, 4.6 seconds. Garzo in second place, Fernandez in third.
Fernandez is actually running quicker than Cyrene in first place right now.
That's very impressive indeed.
He just did a 33.2 and Cyrene's in a 33.3. And then Garzo in second is doing high 33, 33.9, the same lap time as Oldenal. So Fernandez running the same lap times as Cyrene with 2 laps to go. So something's up his sleeve.
Absolutely. So Augusto Fernandez with Stephen Odendaal chasing him down for the final podium position. We just saw Hector Garzo in the forefront of your shot there on the blue and white number 14 machine. Keep an eye out for him. He's going to finish the race in second place if it all goes as planned. But who is going to get the battle for third place? It's between Augusto Fernandez and Stephen Odendaal. And Fernandez is really strong in that middle sector. This is where he's making up all that time.
Yeah, and Renato, we've lost him a bit, and now he's 1 second behind Odenal, but Odenal's not going to give up. You know, he's Moto2 champion from last year. He wants it as bad as anyone, and he wants to keep that #1 number, not on his plate, but he wants to keep that #1 spot for the championship this year. So
indeed, if Odendaal did take the championship, he'd be the first double Moto2 European champion since Jordi Torres in 2011 and 2012. So that would be a very impressive feat. Meanwhile, Hafiz Siren comes over the timing line to start the final lap of racing here in Albacete. The Malaysian rider has led from start to finish. He's looked calm and comfortable. Second place of Hector Garzo on the number 14 machine, but who's going to get third? Here comes Odendaal up the inside into the first corner. Brilliant piece of overtaking there from Stephen Odendaal. Will he make it stick? It's very close between the two. Into the left we go. Augusto Fernandez has to hold on for fourth place at the moment.
Turn 4 here. He's going to try to... he's too far back, so... he needs to try to get right behind him and try to make the same move into Odendaal in turn 8, but I think Odendaal is going to be smart and shut that door.
Well, you don't become a reigning European champion for nothing, that's for sure. And Odendaal really knows his racecraft. Of course, he's raced at the world level in 2013, came back to the European Championship for the following year, and also races in South Africa as well. Oh, this is going to be very close indeed as they come down into that turn 8 corner. Holds on, does Odendaal. Very close between them, though. Here he goes. No, is he going to go up the inside? Fernandez, yes, he does. Fernandez moves into third place on the final lap. Augusto Fernandez, what a ride from the Suter chassis machine. What a ride from the Spaniard as well. And will Odendaal be able to fight back, or is it going to be too little too late?
He's got to get a good... Oh, gets a little bit out of the seat back here, but he needs to get right behind his wheel out of this corner. No, runs way too wide. He's he can't get it. He won't get it. And the problem is Fernandez is really strong on the brake. So, and like I said, if you're not in the front in turn 13, it's going to be hard. Here's Siren. Great
Here comes Siren. Hafiz Siren wins the first race of the European Moto2 Championship in 2017. Hector Garzo comes home in second place. Here is third. It's Fernandez. Augusto Fernandez takes his first podium of the 2017 season. Stephen Odendaal has to settle for fourth place. Fifth place was Eric Granado. A great result for the Indonesian rider Dimas Eki in sixth position as well. Marcel Brenner comes home in seventh place, and the American Joe Roberts is home in eighth place as well, as Fellini and Jason Uribe round out the top 10. What a race we had there, and you can see how happy Hafiz Siren is with that.
Oh, great race, and it's good to see, you know...
Hello, what's he doing? Some kind of a celebration there, kissing the tarmac of Albacete, Hafiz Siren. What a race. Waves to the fans as well. A really good attendance we've got here at Albacete this weekend as well. Hector Garzo, though, what a ride. What a race.
No, great. And like I was just about to say, it's great to see Garzo and Fernandez, two new riders up in that podium spot, you know. And it's great to see these battles, and it was a great battle for third place too for that podium, and Fernandez as well, you know, well deserves it.
Absolutely. So Hector Garzo comes home in second place, his best result in the 2017 championship, a brand new rider in the 2017 championship as well, which makes it all the more impressive on that Tech Trois machine. So 20 laps for the European Moto2 Championship here at Albacete. Final runners and riders coming home over the timing line. The only Briton, Jamie Edwards, was home in 18th position. Let's have a look at the final classification in just a few moments' time. But a great race there as Hafish Siren takes the checkered flag. Augusto Fernandez, what a race from him, the number 37. He came home in third position, and you can see how delighted he is on board that Suter chassis as well, wheeling his way down the back straight, and quite understandably so, and waving to the crowd as well. What a race we had in Moto2. What a final lap for that third place battle as well. We thank you so much for joining us for that. That was really something incredible, and a great result, as I mentioned earlier on, for Di Mazzecchi in 6th position. As the riders complete their cooling down lap, they'll head into Parc Ferme, of course. We'll hear from the winner, Hafish Siren, very shortly with Dakota as well. So there we are, lovely conditions here in Albacete today. The first dry day we've had all weekend. The wind is still quite strong. It's blowing in a westerly direction over the start-finish straight, which certainly doesn't help the lighter machines. Here is the final confirmation of the results. Hafish Siren takes the checkered flag after 31 minutes and 13 seconds. Hector Garzo in second place, 5 seconds down the road. Fernandez in third, Odendahl fourth, Bernardo fifth, Eki sixth, Brenner seventh, Joe Roberts, the American, the first American home on board that Kalex in 8th place. Jason Uribe rounds out the top 10. Lucas Tolovic made a great start because he started right from the back of the grid. Hiroki Ono is 12th place. Oscar Gutierrez in 13th. Cardelus, Makivka, Derland, Luna and Jamie Edwards was 2 laps down on that Nikos machine. A great result there for the Briton. A fantastic race we saw there in the Moto2 Championship. And there is Hafish Siren in Parc Ferme being congratulated by his team manager. And you can understand exactly why he is so pleased. And we'll be hearing from him, as I said, in just a couple of moments' time. Of course, we've got the Moto3 race on the way next, the Junior Moto3 World Championship. We're very much looking forward to that as Siren celebrates in style. Let's see if we can hear anything in Parc Ferme. Nothing too much, a matter of silence for the moment. I'm sure it'll all be in his native language as well. But what a race it was from the Indonesian, of course, racing in the World Championship. And he is looking like he'll be in good stead and getting some all-important testing miles on board his machine. A great race also for Hector Garzo on board that Tech 3 bike. He's very pleased with that, as you can see. 2nd place in that race for the Spaniard. And a few words being exchanged with his team manager in Parc Ferme as well. And Hector Garzo finishing that race in a brilliant, brilliant position. And don't forget, of course, about Augusto Fernandez as well. We're looking forward to hearing from him at some point soon and seeing his celebration on the podium. A great result for Augusto Fernandez. There he is, the number 37, the Spaniard, on that Suter. So 3 different manufacturers of chassis on the podium as well. Kalex, Tech 3 and Suter. The first time we've seen that in 2017, and what a great way to start the 2017 European Moto2 Championship. Just trying to get his hat on as well. Is he going to get over that hair? That's what I'm wondering as well. That's going to be very interesting to find out. There we go. And a few selfies taking place in the paddock. Here was the battle for 3rd place that went right down to the line then between Augusto Fernandez and Stephen Odendahl. Odendahl went into the corner but ran it a little bit wide. That left just enough room for Fernandez as Odendahl had to sit up mid-corner. Fernandez moved himself up into the podium position and Odendahl couldn't retaliate from there. But how interesting was that? A very, very hardly fought battle, and you can see just what it means to Augusto Fernandez as well. So the sun shines over here in Albacete. A brilliant race in the European Moto2 Championship. A fantastic result for all involved. Some great races going on as well. Some great battles going on throughout the field. Very impressed with Lucas Tolovic finishing just outside the top 10 after coming back from about 23rd on the grid or something like that. That's a very impressive sign. Let's hear from Hafish Siren. Well, there we are. Hafiz Syrin, understandably delighted with that result. We'll get highlights for you in just a few moments' time. But Syrin, what a great race it was for the Malaysian rider, taking that knowledge into the World Championship. Here we are then. This was the start of the race. Hafiz Syrin started his way on pole position. Alongside him was Hector Garzo. And Syrin looked like he would lead down towards the first corner, which indeed he did do. He took the whole shot and then was pretty much untouchable really for the rest of the race. Further back on, it was all going off as well. Some great battles throughout the field. Dinaseki slipped back from his front row start. He got touched by Odendaal, or overtaken by Odendaal in the opening stages of the race. He made his way through. Eki would eventually go on to finish that race in 6th position. Some very exciting racing as Eki then lost out to Augusto Fernandez as well, as Fernandez made his way up the order. That was a great race from the Spaniard as well. That's a fantastic riding that went on throughout the field. As they came over the timing line, however, there was a nice little battle going on between Steven Odendaal and Eric Granado. Granado had the outside line. Odendaal made his way up the inside of the Brazilian rider. We thought these two would be battling for the championship so far this year. It's not turned out to be quite that way at the moment. A great race that went on between both riders as Fernandez found his way against Granado as well. So Fernandez, a great performance. Meanwhile, then it was a battle for third place between between Fernandez and Odendaal. Odendaal had the advantage as they went into the last few laps. Looked pretty calm and pretty confident out there. But then it would all come down to the final lap and a final overtaking spot as Augusto Fernandez managed to muscle his way up the inside, sat up Odendaal momentarily, and that led him to the podium position as Hafiz Syrin came home to take the checkered flag and 25 points in the European Moto2 Championship, something that he was understandably delighted with. So that brings an end the Moto2 race. Up next, we've got Moto3 and 45 riders on the grid for that one there, Dakota. That's going to be something exciting. There we are, riders just taking their way onto the podium now.
It was great to see his smile. It's great to see that guy, a Malaysian smile again. And he didn't even know he was racing here till the day after Texas last week. You know, we were in Texas. I'm working in the World Championship too, and we were in Texas last week. And the team manager basically told him on the Monday, "Hey, do you want to race in Albacete?" And he smiled and said, "Well, it's not up to me; it's up to you guys." And for us racers, any race for us, it's a yes. So no, it was great to see him, and he actually said he struggled a bit at the beginning of the race to try to pull away, but then for some reason he could keep that pace pretty quick, and Garzo basically was running a little bit slower than him lap by lap. But I just want to say also, you know, it's great to have Suter back in the World Championship. They're back in the World Championship. There was a time where Suter weren't anymore there. It was all Calix and the Tech 12 bike. So now we got the Suter back in, and it seems to be working better as we see.
There we are. Hafiz Syrin takes his trophy, and he will be spraying the champagne. Fortunately, these riders are old enough to spray champagne as well.
Yes. Or sometimes you'll see one rider that's underage and the rest are champagne, so it's kind of like unfair that they're yeah.
Let's get the national anthem then.
El aplauso para los ganadores antes de que abramos el cabo.
Hafiz Syrin takes the podium. The national anthem of Malaysia rings out here in Albacete. And it's only a matter of time before we get the champagne sprayed. There we go.
Gas card?
Gas card?
I think they just gave him I think the winner gets like $300, $400, or $500 of free gas for a Repsol.
Well, that's a reason to go race by itself,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Just pull up in your car and bring out that that gold card out. I think that's what they just handed him.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I remember Remy Gardner in Barcelona. He won the race, and he came back. I saw him with this big cardboard, you know, basically cardboard that said €500 free gas. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Take that in the gas station and just like try to ring it up or so?
Manhandle it through the door sort of thing. Oh dear, there we go. A great race in the European Moto2 Championship. No champagne being sprayed though on the
no, what's
up
with that?
Yeah, we'll have to find out what's going on there. There we are. So a great race in Moto2 here in Albacete. We'll move on to Moto3 in just a few moments' time. The Junior European, that doesn't make sense. The Junior World Moto3 Championship is on the way next. Here is the championship for the FIM CEV Repsol in Moto2. And of course it does reflect the race results. Hafish Sayrin finishes 5 points ahead of Hector Garzo. Fernandez in 3rd position. Jason Uribe is inside the top 10. Lucas Tolovic, who came from the back of the grid, into 11th position. Hiroki Ono on his debut for the NTS team. Odendal's teammate, of course, is in 12th place. And Jukka Migluvka rounds out the order in 15th position. What a race we have had in the European Moto2 Championship. We move on next to round 1 of the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Welcome back to Albacete. We're here for round 1 of the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. It's the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Up next, my name is Tom Brooks. Alongside me for this weekend is Dakota Momola. Thank you so much for joining us. It is great to have your company throughout the course of, I'm sure, of this 2017 season. We've already had 2 races in the form of the European Talent Cup. And of course, just now we had the end of the European Moto2 Championship. We're here in Albacete in southern Spain. 19 laps for the Junior Moto3 World Championship. 3.5 kilometers this circuit. 6 left-hand turns, 5 right-hand turns, and of course it is run in a clockwise direction. This Moto3 World Championship, the Junior World Championship, it's going to be very exciting there, Dakota. 45 riders on the grid for this race.
I don't think there's that many riders in the World Championship.
I don't think there is. No, I think you're quite right.
And it's great. It's great to see this many riders in the championship. It just shows, you know, that there's that many riders out there willing to race. And I think there were more in the entry list, but
there were 49 riders in total on the entry
list. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think 45 is the maximum amount of riders that are allowed to start for safety reasons.
Exactly. You can imagine me probably panicking doing my notes the other day for commentary when I was trying to find out who was who, because 49 riders up until 1 in the morning on Wednesday night, I think it was, to try and prep for this championship.
And I'm sure you studied them and you still don't remember all of them.
Well, that's why I've got notes. You see. I can work out who's who.
Thank God I got you, Tom. I'm serious.
Oh dear, it is the Junior World Championship here in Albacete. Here's an onboard lap with Ayagura in the wet conditions yesterday, sopping wet. You can see just how wet it was in qualifying, which had led to a shake-up.
Great camera, that is.
Running order, yeah, great camera angle for the the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Over the timing line we go then, and in towards that first corner. Breaking down into second gear, 120 kilometers an hour, just under on the apex as one of the other Honda team bikes goes through in towards this left chicane. Very difficult in the dry, let alone in the wet conditions. You can see the rain pouring off, so it's still very wet at this point. Into turn 4, this is a scene of a good few overtaking opportunities, and especially keep an eye out in this race for the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Into the left we go of turn 5, down the back straight and into turn 6. And then we go into that left-hand kink of turn 7. It's a very exciting and very fast corner, that very treacherous in these wet conditions as well.
Hairball in these conditions right here.
Certainly is. Third gear, very committed there from Ayagura. Shifting up the box into 4th gear, down to 3rd for the left-hander. We're coming towards the final part of the lap. And Ayagura, of course, for the Asia talent team, will give you a full grid order in just a few moments' time, but he was looking great out there, very slight on the brakes. You can see how much he was modulating the throttle there, but very smooth and very controlled as well. Yeah,
in the rain you got to be riding super smooth, and sometimes you try to keep that extra gear into the corner instead of that high pitchy RPM gear, so it's good to, you can see he's actually on a quick lap time right here as he's passing a lot of riders, and even following someone that's not too close from you, but kind of a distance where you still see him, you know, that actually will improve your lap time too and help you go quicker.
Yes, indeed. So third gear into the final sweeping corner for Ayagura here with the Asia Talent team in very wet conditions in Albacete in qualifying yesterday. Over the timing line he came. And it was a great lap from Ayagura, and he would end up in the middle of row 2. There he is.
Front row. Nice sunshine.
Indeed.
No one in front of him.
Absolutely, I apologise. That's actually Somkit Chantra on pole position. So the other Asia Talent team will give you a full running order there. But Somkit Chantra, in his debut in the championship, starts on pole position. He, of course, is very famous for competing in the Asia Talent Cup. Now, the Asia Talent Cup, of course, very similar in principle to the European Talent Cup. It's designed to bring riders from the ages of 12 to 17 years old over to the European stage. And there he is, Somkit Chantra of Thailand, the number 35.
Is that the first ever Thai pole?
I believe it could be, yes. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't got the notes to hand for that one at the moment.
Come on, Tom. I thought staying up till 1 a in the morning, you'd have this information. I'm joking.
Very sorry about that.
I'm joking. Oh, it's great. It's great to see that.
Indeed. Here is Aleix Viu. Get well soon, Alex, he says. That's Alex Rins, of course, who unfortunately has sustained an injury, of course, in the World MotoGP Championship.
Yeah, it's not good. That poor guy's had a rough past 6 months, breaking his, back in the winter test in November in Valencia. Then his foot a month ago training motocross, and now his hand, his wrist last week in Texas. So he hasn't had a really good chance to recover, and it ain't going to help him either for his confidence.
Here's the man who was so impressive towards the end of last season. Raul Fernandez lines up this year with the MRW Mahindra team, the Aspar Mahindra team. Now, he's moved from the Leglise team from last year over to Aspar this year.
He's definitely one to watch. He's young, really fast. He was already fast last year, already battling for that podium finishes. He finished really strong. I think he finished second or third in the last race in Valencia.
He won the last race.
Did he win it? Yeah, he won the last race in Valencia. And I think he's only 15
He's a very young rider.
Very young.
Yeah.
So, and I think his brother also races and is also fast. Not sure where he races at, but I heard his brother's also another quick
Augusto Fernandez, who's his brother. So third, of course, in the Moto2 race just a couple of minutes ago.
There you go. So it's hopefully we see them in the World Championship like the Spargaros or something. So
absolutely. We just saw Makar Yurchenko, the Kazakhstani rider. He heads row 2 on the number 76, and lining up alongside him is the man who we saw that on-board lap with just a couple of moments ago, Ayagura of Japan, competing, of course, in the Asia Talent Cup, and he is going to be a very promising talent, I'm sure, throughout today. Ayagura, of course, competing in the Asia Talent Cup and finished second last year as well. Best finish of first in Thailand, China and Japan in some of those races. So he's a very quick rider. Keep an eye out for him, because in the dry weather it could be a very interesting set of events. I should mention, of course, the fastest rider in warm-up this morning, the only dry session that we've had here so far this weekend, is Alonso Lopez of the Junior Estrella Galicia team. So Alonso Lopez could be very interesting. We just saw a couple of moments ago a few more riders getting themselves on the grid and ready. Good to see some good crowds here this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's good to see, sun's out, everyone's out here watching, and it's great. It's great to have some good atmosphere out here in Albacete. Here's another Estrella Galicia rider. I was actually talking to Jose Carrion, who's the basically the Estrella Galicia team, kind of like team coach manager, and he was telling me how they have 4 riders in the team. And once a week, a whole week, they do it every 2 months. They gather up the 4 riders, and each day they do something different. So they'll have Monday gym, Tuesday they'll all go ride motocross, Wednesday they'll all ride dirt track at Marc Marquez's track, and they do that for a whole week, once every 2 months, which I thought was super cool. They should have that for most teams, and basically all these young riders, they get to ride with each other on the track when they're racing, and off when they have to keep training outside of the racing.
That's mega. The Asia Talent team, really very exciting. Here is the number 9 man, Apiwat Wongtananon, the Thailand rider, lining up in ninth position.
Can you say that name again?
Apiwat Wongtananon. I can say it as many times as you like. I practice it perfectly for this weekend. The Thailand rider for the VR46 Master.
So if he wins this race and I got to go interview him in the podium, I'm going to send you down there to say his name because...
Oh, dearie me. Yeah, Apiwat Wongtananon lines up in ninth position. Very quick, actually, of course, part of the VR46 Riders Academy. And the Indonesian rider. Here is the man who was fastest in warm-up this morning, Alonso Lopez. Keep an eye out for him as well, because any man who's finished 5th in the championship, who we did last year, in the top 5, is one to watch for this season.
100%. And we see all these new names in the front because of the wet conditions we've seen. You know, and I think it's all going to be shuffled again and all around with these dry conditions. We'll see the fast riders from last year back in the front that are shuffled a little bit in the back. There's a few out there. So the wind's kind of dialed down a bit. I went outside and it's not so bad. And the sun's actually full out now, so it's good.
Indeed, yeah, the grandstand's filling up for the start of this Junior Moto3 World Championship race as well, as you would begin to imagine. One of the most popular races, probably the big one, as I thought we'd probably refer to it. Keep an eye out for this man, Sergio Garcia. Now, you were talking to me about him earlier, Dakota.
Yes, it's his first year, actually, here. And he's just 14 years old. And I was talking to the team, and they actually said he's one to watch.
Exactly. Now, it would be interesting. Of course, he's with the Junior Estrella Galicia team.
Yes, and they said that he struggles a bit in the rain, so he should be quicker in this dry race. So it'd be interesting to see. There we see. I can just see outside this window Alberto Puig helping out pole position man with the Asia. You know, Alberto's helping out the Asia Talent Cup and Asian riders.
Yeah, he's the manager of the team, Asia Talent team, and of course the British Talent team as well.
Yeah,
and
so he's helping out a lot, and it's great to see a guy like that help out like that. So. It's good to see him here too.
Indeed. We just saw Jari Montella. He lines up in 13th position on the grid as Montella. Keep an eye out for him because he is a very, very fast rider, and I'm sure with that 658 team, who of course are competing in the World Championship this year.
With Tatsuki.
With Tatsuki Suzuki and Tony Arbolino as well. They could be a very interesting man. Vicente Perez on the KTM. He's with the Reale Avinti Academy team. Well, he said Ducati then as well.
We need to get you to do the Spanish accent.
Do I? Really?
Yeah. Perez.
Yeah. Sorry, Perez. I apologise. Here is the grid for the start of the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Somkiat Chantra starts from pole position. Alongside him, Aleix Viu and Raul Fernandez. Row 2, Makar Yachenko, Ayagura and Josito Garcia. Row 3, Jeremy Alcoba, Yuki Kuni and Apiwat Wongtananon, the Thailand rider, in 9th position. Alonso Lopez heads row 4 ahead of Andy Farid. Sergio Garcia in 12th place. Jari Montella, Philippe Salak from the Czech Republic and Vicente Perez. And then Kazuki Masaki, Dennis Foggia and Bruno Palesi-Aracci, who is in row 6. Then we go to row 7, Andy Verdois, Kazma Kazmayuddin, Jaume Masia. Keep an eye out for him as well. He could be very quick. Stefano Nepper. And then Charlie Nesbitt, the British rider, is in the middle of row number 8. Mattia Cassidy. And then Gabriel Martinez Abrego, who of course qualified and raced in the World Championship in Austin last time out. Chandler Cooper at the head of row 10. Ryu and then Petrarca. Then Gadini, Owens, Skinner, Daniel Jones, Clement Rouge and Jason De Pasquia. Row 13 is Ryan Van Logmart, Alex Ruiz, Matthias Megel, and then Rufino Florido. Only 40 riders taken to the grid as opposed to the 45 that we thought would be on the grid. But nonetheless, that's a very healthy grid.
Oh, definitely. And I'm going to close my eyes for turn 4, and you just tell me what happens.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting. There is the pole man, Somkiat Chantra. Keep an eye out for him. He will be a very interesting man to watch in this race. The Thailand rider, I was talking to him yesterday, very nice and polite, as are all the Asia Talent team riders, as they are very, very nice people to talk to. The mechanics then clear from the grid, and we will get ready to get the formation lap underway for the start of the Junior Moto3 World Championship. You can just see there in the middle of the shot, Charlie Nesbitt with the number 86 on the back of his leathers, the blue and red leathers. He, of course, wildcarded in Valencia last year for the Monlau team.
And he's basically the rider that Scott Redding's brought to this championship. And
he's also got backing from Mark VDS as well. I was talking to him yesterday, and he said that because, of course, they've had some testing in the dry here as the formation lap gets underway. So because they've had some testing in the dry, that he's got a good base setup for the bike, and he's also going to be running the soft tyre as well.
Yeah, the only problem is he's got to have a good start and kind of pass a lot of riders as much as he can in the first few laps.
Indeed, tyre compounds for this race. We've got the results in, and it is pretty much medium across the board on front and rear, aside from Jeremy Alcoba and Alonso Lopez, who are both running soft rears as opposed to medium front. That's a bit of a bonus.
It's a little more of a risky move because basically you need to push the first few laps, and then they'll start to struggle toward the end of the race. They might feel good on it. You never know. Everyone has a different riding style, but medium, I think, is the tire choice to go with.
Yes, indeed. We can see somebody there at the end of pit lane.
Someone has to start from pit lane.
Indeed, yeah. We'll get information on that one as soon as we can. It's Josh Owens who's starting from pit lane. So the British rider on the promo racing team, unfortunately, is going to have to contest this race after everybody else has gone through the first corner.
Yeah, he might have had bike issues or something. He couldn't get on the grid. You never know.
Yeah, indeed. He was due to line up in the middle of row 11, so he was towards the rear end of the field. But nonetheless, that's going to really put him at a bit of a disadvantage for this race. So Somkiat Chantra starts from pole position. Aleix Viu and Raul Fernandez alongside him. Makar Yuchenko, Ayagura and Jacinto Garcia are on the second row of the grid. 40 riders set to take for that first corner here in Albacete. That is going to be one interesting first lap, I can assure you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the FIM CEV Repsol. The Junior Moto3 World Championship is coming right up after these riders have completed their formation lap. And of course, the grid, where it was wet yesterday in qualifying, is all jumbled about, really. So we're going to see quite a few position changes going on, I'm sure.
100%. And first few laps going to be just sit back and stay quiet and see what happens. And I'm sure there's going to be a big group at the front, like always in Moto3, and slipstream again is super important in this class. So, but it'll be definitely interesting to see if Somkiat can keep the pace in the dry too.
Indeed, Somkiat Chantra, there he is, the pole position man here in Albacete. Alongside him, Aleix Viu, Raul Fernandez. Row 2, Makar Yuchenko, Ayagura and Jacinto Garcia. 19 laps away the riders here at the Junior Moto3 World Championship in Albacete. Lights out and away we go. Bit of a jump there from Chantra into the other track down towards the first corner. Looks like Fernandez made an equally good start. Will Aleix Viu be a bit of a challenger? Everybody making a very clean start as Jacinto Garcia looks very menacing and leading the way into the first corner. Looks like it's Jeremy Alcoba. If that's Alcoba, that's a blinding start from the number 52. Who's going to get the getaway? It is Alcoba who leads the way. Brilliant getaway from Alcoba. He leads the way ahead of Chantra. No, in fact, ahead of the number 32 machine of Ayagura. Agura's made a good start. I don't know why. There's contact in the middle of the pack. Somebody else gets hit by everybody else. Unbelievable drama here in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Looks like the number 63 rider was caught up in that mix as well. That's Vicente Perez. And who else was in there as well? That looks like
one of those three, yeah.
Is that Lopez as well? Because he started a bit further down the order. Was that Lopez who's gone down?
I think it was Lopez.
Indeed, that's a bit of a disaster there for Lopez. We wonder where he got off the start.
I think he actually got collected from the other guy from the crash. So I don't think it was his fault.
No, absolutely not. So there we are. So leading the way in the opening stages of this race is Jeremy Alcoba. And that's Fernandez out. Unbelievable. Raul Fernandez is out. I wonder where he gone from the timing sheets. Here we go. Let's have a look, Dakota. What do we think of this? Oh, Fernandez straight into the back. And that sent over
the Estrella Galicia guy. I'm not sure who he... Lopez.
It was Alonso Lopez. So the man
unfortunate for him because he had nowhere to go.
The man who was fastest in warm-up as Fernandez makes a hash of his braking, both out on the spot on the opening lap here in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. That is a disaster for all riders concerned. Nonetheless, some consolidation. The Australian team is that Jeremy Alcoba leads the way ahead of Aleix Viu. Ayagura is in third place, but now he's coming under some pressure from behind as Makar Yuchenko looks to try and make some headway on the Realia Avintia Academy bike, and he moves himself up into third position, but Agura fights himself back and is now into the podium position once again. Chantra's made a bit of a poor start and is now down into fifth position after the opening lap. There he is, the number 35 with the white helmet. Keep an eye out for him in this race. He was very quick, of course, in the wet and looks quite quick and quite confident in the dry this morning after finishing in third position. Aleix Viu in second place. Jeremy Alcoba, though, leads the way. And this is going to be a very, very big battle, I am sure. One of the VR46 bikes, the number 22, Evacuat's Wong Tananon. Keep an eye out for him. just sitting towards the back end of this little gaggle. There we go with the number 32 of Ayagura. On the podium at the moment is Agura. He's looking great out there so far on circuit. But leading the way, Jeremy Alcoba. And we haven't seen this type of performance from Alcoba in a long time. So it's really good to see him getting his confidence and his mojo back there.
Yeah, he's just trying to create this small little gap from view from Reigns' team. It is Reigns' team there.
It is,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it is. So that bright orange bike, and be interesting to see if Vio can actually catch him. But it seems like Alcoba's putting some nice lap time. And we'll see the lap time right now on this lap.
Indeed, well, his best result last year for Jeremy Alcoba was a podium at the opening round in Valencia. Third position he finished there. If he can go two better here this weekend, I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that, as will the Estrella Galicia team. So Jeremy Alcoba leads the way. Aleix Viu in second place. Ayagura is third. Makar Yuchenko fourth. Somkit Chantra holding on to fifth position so far. Just a quick mention for the Brits in this race as well. Charlie Nesbitt's been shuffled back a bit in the start. He's in 25th position. And Dan Jones down in 33rd position as well. And Josh Owens, of course, making that head road into that race after starting the race from pit lane. We'll keep an eye out for where Rory Skinner's doing in this race as well.
Yeah, the top four guys are the only ones right now just doing a 36, 1 minute 36, and the rest of the field are on 37. So, but again, Alcoba seems to be fast in the first two sectors and creating a little gap, but then they can rejoin him and back on the front straight. Like I said, that slipstream gives a hell of a difference.
Indeed, Makar Yuchenko now into third position, so the Kazakhstani rider moves ahead of the Asia Talent Team rider. Jeremy Alcoba leads the way. Second place of Aleix Viu. Real good battle going on for third position as well between the number 32 of Ayagura and the man in front of him, Makar Yuchenko, for the Realia Avintia Academy team, rather, I should say. Not the Ducati team, the Realia Avintia Academy team.
There's a Ducati in this class?
I wish there was, because that would be a very interesting Moto3 bike, wouldn't it? Yuchenko goes defensive on the brakes into the turn 12 chicane. Holding on to that position so far, he is. And now they're coming right on to the rear end of the 42 Reds machine of Aleix Viu as well there, Dakota.
Yeah, and you see this small gap that Alcoba creates right here, and then at the end of this front straight, they'll gain that gap back.
Indeed.
See, straight in the back again.
Oh, he's trying his way up the inside, though, into the first corner. That's a bit of a Dan move. He makes it stick, though. Makar Yuchenko could be the first Kazakhstani rider to finish on the podium here in 2017.
It'd be great to see that.
It certainly would be. We love having different nationalities in the FIM CEV Repsol, and that is what this championship is all about, being a world championship, of course. Having that world status, that international status, where we get riders from the likes of Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, the likes of Spain as well, of course, in Europe, and Great Britain, as well as Kazakhstan as well. So it's really very, very exciting. 26 different nationalities competing in the entire CEV Repsol across all four categories. As Yuchenko goes for the lead up the inside of Jeremy Alcoba. He gets the move done and dusted. Yuchenko, what a move that was. Brilliant riding here from the number 76. He moves himself up into the lead of the race of Alcoba on the Estrella Galicia bike. Now down to second, and here comes Viu looking up the inside of Alcoba as well. This is a great battle as the top four have really broken away from the rest of the field. Down the back straight we go, though, Dakota, and it's that slipstream once again.
Yeah, and there's that pass again into that turn 8, that famous, left-hander. It's a great corner, actually, to stick it in someone instead of breaking into basically turn 13 or any other any other corners that are a little bit tougher. Like I said, it's really tough track to pass. But on these things, it's not as tough as a Moto2 bike. It's a little bit easier. But watch the slipstream that Alcoba will get right here.
There we go, yeah. Alcoba hits the front once again as we come down towards the first corner. 5 laps out of 19 completed. Viu has a look up the inside as Yuchenko is shuffled back. Oh, down goes Chantra. Not Chantra, I apologise. Agura goes down. That's a disaster for Agura in the third corner. He's absolutely apocalyptically cross with that. Let's try and see a replay if we can. Agura on the Asia Talent Team bike goes down. A disaster there, and he looks...
So Aleix Viu stood up and... basically, Agura ran in the back of him.
Yeah, and he's lost a lot of ground there. Where is he gone? He's
had an issue with the bike, and instead of moving out of the way, stayed on the line.
Right.
And Agura is actually running in the back of him.
Oh, and Agura is furious as well.
Yeah, he must be furious at
That's a real disaster there. Iagura goes down.
Watch.
Here we go. Let's have a look.
He'll sit up right here.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It's not really his fault because he was actually pushing, and it seemed like all of a sudden the bike must have failed or something. And in that type of corner, you're carrying so much speed into it, you have nowhere to go.
Wrong place, wrong time,
yes,
unfortunately,
exactly.
for Iagura. So the top four battling, rather, I should say, becomes a duo battling with Jeremy Alcoba as Makar Yuchenko looks up the inside. The Kazakhstani rider trying to find a way through, but can't quite manage it at the moment. So Makar Yuchenko does hold on to second place. Alcoba leads the way at the moment on lap 5 out of 19.
Now Chantra is going to be in third.
Indeed, Somkit Chantra, who started the race in pole position. That's a great bit of riding there for Somkit Chantra, and he's got no real company from behind either.
No,
so
he's had a lonely race, and these two are going to have a lonely race too, but I'm sure in their pit board they'll say that they're alone in this group, so they don't have to really push extra too hard, knowing that there's no one behind them pressuring them.
Indeed, Jeremy Alcoba leads the way from Makar Yuchenko, lap 6 out of 19 here in the Moto3 Junior World Championship, round 1 at Albacete. If you have just tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. Just a bit of news as well further back for the first Briton. It is the number 69 of Rory Skinner, who is in 12th position. So Skinner is looking very nice, and that was a big year for Skinner as well. But he's on the KTM, and I was talking to Mark Keane yesterday, and he was saying that he expects the team to be a little bit slow in the first couple of rounds because, of course, new bike and setting it all up, getting their heads around it, etc. But it is really a big year for Rory Skinner as he intends to try and make his debut, I'm sure, in the World Championship for 2018. As coming down the pit lane comes Aleix Biu. He's absolutely gutted.
100%. It was like he was saying about also Brad Binder, you know, Moto3 World Champion, and he was actually struggling too the first years. And there's Alex, Aleix Biu,
yeah, he's in
who had
pit
an
lane.
issue with the bike.
I know, that's a real disaster there. So
he was running well during the race.
Yeah.
And let me just say that Yurchenko's the fastest rider out there right now with the 36s. Mid-36s, and the rest of the field are on high 36s or 37s. So there's the two front runner-ups, and it seems like Yurchenko doesn't have as much speed as Alcoba on that front straight.
Indeed, they're both on two different motorcycles as well. So, of course, Alcoba on the Honda and Yuchenko on the KTM bike.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what plan Yurchenko's going to, use to pass Alcoba towards the end of the race, since he won't be able to slipstream him anywhere. So. But he is really good on that brakes, and I think he's the one. Oh, he's.
There's a long look behind him as well, does Alcoba. So
Hello, I'm right behind you.
Certainly knows that he's there. There's the third position man of Somkit Chantra. Meanwhile, further back as well, there's some great battles going on. As Dennis Foggia, we haven't really mentioned him so far in this race, but he's having a great battle with the number 5 machine. Is that the number 5 machine? Indeed it is. So that's Jaume Masia. So yes, Jaume Masia is in new colours for this year, which caught me off guard ever so slightly. So keep an eye out for Masia versus Foggia, and Masaki also at the back end of that group as well. As here comes Masia up the inside of Foggia into the right-hander. Does he make it stick? Does Foggia get it back? Yes, he does. They're very close indeed. Look at that. He says, slaps himself on his backside and says, "Follow me, son. Keep an eye out.
Come with me. Let's try to catch that third place." He's basically saying. So it'll be good if they can catch. Chantra, and try to fight for that podium finish.
Indeed, yeah, they've got Kazuki Masaki as well, not too far behind, so that trio could end up right on the back of Somkit Chantra. Meanwhile, Alcoba leads the way over the timing line, but here comes the slipstream for Yuchenko. Will he be able to take it to the max? Will he use it to his advantage into the first corner? And again, as you said, Dakota, just not enough, is it?
No, I'm telling you, his bike is not as fast.
Very close as well as Masaki moves up the inside of Foggia. Foggia shuffled back down to 6th place as Masia looks to try and break away from this group, really. Very, very close indeed between the two. But Masaki, this is very impressive for the Asia Talent Team rider. He's been so impressive, of course, as of late, as Kazuki Masaki finished 10th, of course, in CEV Moto3 last year, 6th in Catalonia, 7th, of course, in the Asia Talent Cup as well, with the best finish of 2nd at Motegi and in Japan. So he's certainly no slouch in the Junior Championship, and we should expect good things from him.
Yeah, I mean, if these three boys want to have a chance to fight for that podium finish, they got to stop passing each other and messing each other up, because they're losing time on Chantra. Chantra's basically alone doing his lap times, And if D-boys, you know, keep passing each other and, you know, and screwing each other up, then you're going to lose that, you know, that opportunity of catching them. So whoever gave that sign to follow me, listen to him. So
this is coming from a rider's point of view as well, so you certainly should listen to him on that occasion. I have to say, I'm very impressed with Jaume Masia because he qualified right down the order. He was back at the 8th row. That was incredible.
Wow. Great. He must have had a good start of the race because, like I said, everything was going to shuffle around in the dry, and so it did. So. And also, I must say that Alcoba had a good start too. He started in 7th place, I think.
7th place, yeah. I'd have to say, Jaume Masia from 21st on the grid. He's battling in this position.
Incredible.
That is amazing work from Jaume Masia to be up into 4th position. Incredible stuff. Some great racing going on. There is the 3rd place man of Somkiat Chantra. Started this race on pole position.
Like I said, you know, that 4th, 5th, 6th group, they're just doing 36.1s, 36.2, so low 36s, which is actually quicker than what these top 2 guys are doing. Alcoba is looking back again, but he clearly sees that Yurchenko's right behind him. And like I said, yeah, Masia is actually catching Chantra slowly because Chantra's running half a second slower.
Indeed, yes, as Yurchenko looks to try and find his way around the outside of Alcoba. These two, this is going to be a great scrap, isn't it, between these two? And of course, both on very different bikes as well. Alcoba on the more traditional Honda machine, which is a normal style of, or I say normal style, more traditional style of frame, whereas KTM for Makar Yurchenko, it's a steel trellis frame as well, so it's a lot stiffer, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried one of those. I've only tried the Mahindra, but it's probably completely different. But like you were saying about Marquinhos, another crash.
Yeah, indeed, as that's Ryan van Lankmaal who's gone down, the Netherlands rider on the number 18. Let's have a look and see if we can get a replay. Here we go. So you got the front unsettled. Where are we going here? Oh, lost the front.
He's very lucky not to collect the guy in front of him.
Yeah, very, very lucky indeed. That was a really unfortunate piece of riding there for Van Lankmaal. He'll go no further. A disappointing start to his 2017 campaign. Meanwhile, back in front, it is Alcoba from Yurchenko. And now you can just see the gap decreasing ever so slightly with Chantra as well.
I'm telling you, know, the group with Masia, Masaki, and Foggia, they're running half a second quicker, or 0.4 quicker than the first 2, and half a second quicker than Chantra. So they're definitely gonna catch that podium finish guy. There he is.
Indeed, yeah. So Kazuki Masaki is looking in great shape in this race as well. He's in 5th position, but Jeremy Alcoba still leading the way from the Kazakhstani rider Makar Yurchenko. This has been a real bit of form from Makar Yurchenko as well. Just in comparison, I mean, last year he finished in a very respectable position, 14th position in the championship for the 42 Motorsport team, and had a few good results as well, and took 10 points in Valencia and 10 points in Catalonia as well. So this is really good stuff from him, and just shows with the right bike and the right equipment.
They've already caught him.
They have indeed, yes. So Somkiat Chantra comes under pressure from Jaume Masia. Masia, who started 21st on the grid for this race. Incredible stuff from Jaume Masia and Kazuki Masaki and Dennis Foggia. But here comes Masia up the inside of Chantra into the left-hander of turn 12. Gets it done and dusted. Gets the move done. And Jaume Masia, his next target will be the 2nd place and 1st place battle of Yurchenko and Alcoba. Alcoba still leads the way as they come across the timing line there. They are just in the front of the shot, but now further back, it's all going off as well as Chantra tries to get his position back against Masia, but can't quite make it stick. And then coming up behind,
teammates.
Indeed, yeah, this is what you don't want to do, is take your teammate out, certainly in a team where you've got 4 different riders as well.
So Masia's basically 3.8 seconds behind Yurchenko, so the group in the front. It's not impossible, but it's not going to be easy to catch him with 8 laps to go.
Yes, indeed, 8 laps. But let's have a look and see what sort of lap times was Jaume Masia setting last time out.
He's running a half a second quicker than the front 2, which, like I said, it's not impossible.
Absolutely not. So let's wait and see what happens then. Jaume Masia, there he is. in 5th position. A new team for this year. He was with the Australia Junior team for down. And who's that? That's Philippe Salak. That's really disappointing because
it might be a technical problem though.
Yeah, he was very quick. I can't see any scuffs on the leathers at the moment, but there again, it's a weird place to stop. Here we go. Yeah, you were bang on. Absolutely bang on. So, yeah, problem with the bike. And Philippe Salak, he was wiggling around at the rear there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's trying to start the bike, but it's not running.
No, that's a real shame there for the Czech Republic rider. He will go no further in this Junior Moto3 World Championship race. 8 laps remaining. The battle at the front still continues onwards between Alcoba and Yurchenko. This is a great run of form from both riders. Neither have taken a win so far, so it would be their debut win in the class if they are able to make it to the checkered flag at this rate. But João Macia as well, you can see him there, the number 5, right at the back of the shot.
Another 0.4 he's just gained.
Indeed,
it's going to be a very tight one.
Can't wait to see what happens. Alcoba leads the way. What a race we're having as well. So keep an eye out for some other riders doing very well. Sergio Garcia has made some good progress as well. He's in 9th position. Wong Tananon as well, the Thailand rider, is in 7th place as well. That's great for Wong Tananon. 10 seconds away from the leaders, but also 4 seconds crucially ahead of Montella, just behind him as well. Rory Skinner in 13th place. He's dropped a bit of back as just ducking out under the bubble.
Alcoba likes to look behind his shoulder out of turn 7. So I think what he's trying to see is how far back that second group is behind him. But I'm sure that the pit board on his team is showing how many seconds are in between them.
Meanwhile, there's some great pedals going on further down the order. The Age of Talent team bikes as well as the SICK 58 machine, the number 55 of Jari Montella. This is the battle we were talking about just a few moments ago. Just in front of him is Yuki Kuni. And then you can see one of the JHK T-shirt bikes getting ahead. As well, some great racing going on throughout the field here in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. This is the battle for 10th place that's going on as Andy Izdihar, actually not Yuki Kuni, I apologise, who is in 10th position at the moment. Stefano Nepper is in 11th, or was 11th as they came over the timing line last time around. And keep an eye out as well for the Estrella Galicia bike of Sergio Garcia as well. He's looking very ragged as they go on the brakes in towards the corner. And Andy Izdihar looking great out there so far on circuit. Number 88 machine as well of Bruno Araki. This is great racing from him as he looks to get past by the number 14 of Garcia. Garcia trying to make headway. This is incredibly good stuff as trying to hit the front of this little battle goes Jari Montella. Very, very close racing indeed into 2nd place in this battle. 11th overall is Bruno Araki, and then Stefano Nepper not too far behind as well. This is fantastic racing going on, isn't it?
Great racing, and that's what we want more of, you know, not just for us, for the TV views and, you know, for the fans. And it's always good to see these battles and to see all these new passes. Sometimes you think there's areas where you can't pass, and then you see this one guy just make the move. I just wanted to say, you know, I was talking about Remy Gardner. He used to race here in Moto3 in the Moto3 Spanish Championship with Team Leglis when they had the whole team. And I'll never forget, out of the last corner, I saw him coming out and he high-sided and his arm got stuck between the brake. No, between
I'm sorry
the
if you're
clutch.
eating your lunch, by the way.
Yeah, between the clutch and the basically the handlebar, and he actually broke his wrist.
Oh, crikey Moses, that sounds painful. There is Apiwat Wong Tananon, the Thailand rider for the VR46 team. Of course, they were picked up, the Thailand riders, for the VR46 team just a few months ago as part of the academy that is, of course, ongoing, which generally brings in Italian talent, but great to see they're bringing across a few more.
So you see what Yurchenko's doing? He's not showing his card. So basically, he was putting his knees... Oh, massive
Oh, my
crash.
goodness me, that is unbelievable. Oh, dearie me, I was looking away from the screen. We just caught the end of that. Let's hope both riders are okay. Looks like it was the...
Oh, no.
Is it the two Asian Talent? It is. It's Chandra and Masaki. That's incredible stuff here.
Teammate takes teammate out.
Oh, no, we were talking about it just a couple of moments ago, weren't we, as well? So Chandra and Masaki involved in one of the biggest incidents that we've seen throughout the season. Yellow flag at the first corner. Let's have a look and see what happened. Here we go on a replay. Chandra and Masaki, they're side by side. Here we go into the... Oh, no! That's a disaster of an incident there. That was terrible, wasn't it?
So if you see, he goes around the, you know, he passes him on the slipstream and then cuts in front of him a little bit too quick. And basically when they break, his teammate doesn't have any room to go anywhere but to stand behind him. And it's unfortunate, but it's not his fault.
It's Masaki ahead of Chantra in that occasion, so a really big shame there. Meanwhile, the battle out in front, and Jaume Masia is going to think all of his Christmases have come at once, as he's now in a third position, and a slightly comfortable third position as well, because it looks like Dennis Foggia is now going to be, he is indeed, yeah, going to be in fourth place as well, so that's a great result for Dennis Foggia.
It's going to be hard for him to catch him, because he's actually now 3.3 seconds behind and only running 1/2 quicker than the front two, so with 6 laps to go, it's not impossible, but it's quite good. It's going to be difficult. But watch, like I was saying earlier, watch Yurchenko behind Alcoba. Yeah. Watch him open his knees out, and what that does is basically it slows him down, because he doesn't want to show him that he can pass him on the straightaway, which is a great move, because then when he waits till the last 2 laps or the last lap, he's going to be like, hey, I'm here, and then he'll go right around the outside of him. Or what he's doing, he's sitting right behind him, and like we were talking in Moto2, he's seeing where he's quicker than Alcoba, and seeing where he can, where is the best place to pass him for the last lap, and basically analyzing, which is what we do usually with races like this and groups like this. We analyze where and when is the best place to pass for that last lap pass.
I'm very pleased to say that Charlie Nesbitt's made some really good progress over the last few laps, and is now up into 16th position, so that's a great result for, I suppose you could call him a rookie. He made a wild card at the end of last year, but is making his full-time debut in 2017. So it's his first full-time season in the championship. And here we look in the Asia Talent Team box. There'll be words said in there tonight, I'm sure.
Not good. Is that 3 riders down from that team?
That was, yes, indeed, yeah, of course, including we had
not a good day in that garage.
Indeed, no, that's a very big shame for all of them. That means Andy is the only man standing. Unfortunately, I wouldn't want to be writing the press release for the championship for the Asia Talent Team at the moment. Meanwhile, the battle out in front, leading the way, Jeremy Alcoba, second place, Makar Yuchenko, 5 laps remaining here at the Circuito Albacete in southern Spain. Over the timing line we go once again. Alcoba leads from Yuchenko, and he's going to think he's probably looking pretty calm and pretty confident in the lead of this race. But if Yuchenko has got something up his sleeve, that's where it's going to get interesting.
I must say, Foggia is the fastest rider, fastest guy out there. 35.9 is his best lap time, which is the fastest lap time of the race. But they're basically doing 36 as the top 4 guys. Oh, no, another rider. Oh, you better get out of the way in the middle of the racetrack.
That's a really precarious position to be placed as well. We're trying to give you more. Is that one of the 658 bikes?
That's turn 13 out of 13, I think. No?
Yeah, it is.
For the last corner.
Into the chicane. Looks like it could be Jari Montella. I can't quite tell from our screen here in the commentary box. I'll give you more information on that as soon as we can. Nonetheless, they are at least, I guess, mostly out of harm's way.
Yeah, Montella.
It is Montella, yeah. So that's Montella who's gone down. That's a real big shame there for the 658 bike. Here we go. Let's have a look. Front end. Oh, high side. Oh, nasty. That was terrible, wasn't it?
Ouch. On that Simoncelli bike, right? Yeah.
That's a very big crash there for Jari Montella. That's a real shame as well, because he was running very strongly, albeit just outside the top 10.
Yeah, those crashes are always a windbreaker. I hate those. And he looks to be okay now. He's walking away, and 4 laps to go. These guys are just going to start picking up the pace now, and be interesting to see win Yurchenko or win or when or how he's going to try to get that from, that pass.
The thing that's been impressive with me for Yurchenko is that he was quick last year, but he wasn't necessarily always consistent. And I'm very impressed with how well he's been doing during this race, because he's shown his consistency, and now he shows his cards as well. Does he pull out of the slipstream? No. Ducks back in again.
No, it's still 3 laps to go. Why show him too soon? And Alcoba is probably thinks, oh, I have him covered here, but doesn't really know that Yurchenko's quicker than him in some areas.
Yes, indeed. Apiwats Wongtananon now inside the top 5 as well. So the Thailand rider will be the first Thai rider home if he finishes in 5th position for the VR46 Mastercamp team. 3 laps now remaining. The duo for the lead.
It's unfortunate for Masia for having to start so far back, because he's actually running quicker lap times in the front too, but unfortunately he won't have enough laps to the finish in front of them, or even have a chance to battle with them, because basically he started so far back he didn't have enough time to go with these 2.
Indeed. Well, of course, next time out we will be at Le Mans for the next round of the Moto3 Junior World Championship, where it will just be the Moto3 class in the FIM CEV Repsol, and that's going to be very, very exciting indeed as well, because given the pace we've seen here from the likes of Masia, given the likes of the pace that we've seen from the Asia Talent Team riders before they unfortunately came to blows, I think we're setting for a bit of a blinder of a race, if I may say so. Jaume Masia there in third position on the number 5. The Spaniard looking good. Here comes Yurchenko. Again, very close, but he's doing so well to keep so close to him in like all of the sectors as well, isn't he? It's really impressive.
Yeah, he's just, like I said, he's probably looking at little gaps or areas where he can see he can basically stuff them. And for me, my call would be turn 8, but the problem is, you know, he needs to really push hard till turn 13, because turn 13 is another area where he can get past again. So
indeed, yeah, good news also for Rory Skinner. He's now up inside the top 10 in 10th position. I have to say, I'm very impressed with Bruno Aracci, who is in 7th place, the Italian rider. He's having a great run so far, and he started way back in 28th position on the grid, so almost Jaume Masia levels of recovery.
Yeah, like I said, there was going to be a lot of changes in the dry, and you know, a lot of riders sometimes in the dry they have no feeling in the rain. You get riders that just can't get their head around going fast in the rain, and that happens in all the classes, and it happens here, and we see in some of the riders who started way back are in the front now.
2 laps to go here at the Junior Moto3 World Championship in Albacete. It's round 1, we're live, and the duo for the lead continues onwards with Jeremy Alcoba leading the way ahead of Makar Yurchenko. Into the final sector of the lap we go. This is incredibly close between the two, and who is going to lead the way on to the start-finish straight? You can see Alcoba and Yurchenko have a 2.6 second gap to Masia in third place. Masia also in the turn has a 1.2 second gap to Foggia in 4th, Wong Tananon in 5th, and Farid, who are very close on track as well. Keep an eye out for those 2 riders. Meanwhile, Yurchenko has a bit of a look. Maybe he's thinking about putting a dummy on him just in case for the next time around.
So I'm not sure what he's going to try to do here. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to try to pass him into here. If I was him, I wouldn't, but you never know.
Let's wait and see. Final lap of racing here in Albacete. Into the first corner, Jeremy Alcoba for the Junior Astrega Lithia team leads the way. The Kazakhstani rider Makar Yurchenko for the Realia Vintage Academy team is in 2nd place. And Jaume Masia looks like he's dead set for a podium in 3rd place. Into turn 4 we go. The scene, of course, of so many overtakes throughout the course of the day that we've seen here in the championship. Don't forget, of course, this isn't the last race. We've got the European Talent Cup Race 2 coming up next.
Oh no, I see a lap rider coming up, and that's the worst fear for when that happens in the race in the last lap.
Indeed, that's Chandler Cooper. Chandler Cooper, number 24. Keep an eye out for him later in the season. It's his first full-time season in the Junior Moto3 World
See if he'll try to stuff. No, can't go around the outside there.
No, Alcoba defends that line beautifully into there. It's now going to be all about that turn 13 chicane, turn 12 chicane, isn't it?
Let's just hope that, I don't know who it is in the lap rider, can get out of the way for that last chicane, because it looks like they might catch it. No, I don't think they will.
Yeah, it's Chandler Cooper. He does realise as well. That's good riding there from the Australian. Good result there. Meanwhile,
turn 13.
Alcoba, here we go into that corner. It's going to be very close between the two. Will Yurchenko think about a move up the inside?
He needs a good drive out of here.
He does indeed. He's going to think about it. Is he going to make it stick? Oh, nope. Alcoba goes later on the brakes. This is very close between the two. Final turn now. Alcoba runs it wide. Will Yurchenko get the better exit? It's going to go down to the line here in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Out of the final corner we go. Is it going to be Alcoba or Yurchenko? It's Alcoba who takes the victory. Jeremy Alcoba on top in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Makar Yurchenko, the Kazakhstani rider, finishes in 2nd place. Jaume Masia takes a well-deserved podium from 21st position on the grid. He finishes in 3rd place. Denis Foggia is in 4th position. And Apiwat Wong Tananon will come home in 5th position, there and thereabouts, very close between the... No, it was Andy Farid actually who got him on the line. Farid and Iraqi got the Thailand rider of Wong Tananon on the line. That's incredibly close. So Wong Tananon does finish in 8th place. Bruno Iraqi finishes in 6th place, and Garcia actually into 7th. So Garcia made an absolute blinder of the last few laps. He crept up the timing screens unbeknownst to us. But Jeremy Alcoba starts his 2017 campaign off in perfect style. What a race. My goodness me. And Makar Yurchenko showing all of the wheelies and some great respect between the two riders as well. That's really nice to see.
No, great. It's great, you know, sportsmanship. And I actually thought that, you know, Yurchenko was going to try to pass Alcoba somewhere, but Alcoba was just strong. He was too strong for him. So here's some funny riding from the young kids.
Indeed, I have to say, very impressive finish for Rory Skinner. He ended up in 9th position, and Charlie Nesbitt ended up in 11th place in his first race of the 2017 season. How impressive was that for Charlie Nesbitt? Very, very good riding. And of course, we'll be hearing from Jeremy Alcoba when he'll be talking to Dakota in just a couple of moments' time. Don't adjust your sets though, because of course we've got another race coming up next in the form of race 2 in the European Talent Cup. Jaume Masia takes a podium. What a race it was from the Spaniard. Everybody very pleased, and what a start to the 2017 season in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. A great start for the Junior Estrella Galicia team, and you can see Jeremy Alcoba there. He is delighted, and quite rightly so as well, and touching the ground. What riding as well. Great, great showmanship for the crowd. So they're coming to Parc Fermé, of course, into the paddock. I can see that from our commentary position up here in Albacete as well. A round of applause for all of the riders as they come down into the Parc Fermé position. Charlie Cooper comes in, as does Rory Skinner, and then Jeremy Alcoba, the race victor. He is understandably very, very pleased with that. There'll be some good celebrations, I'm sure, going on. Here was the overtake that took the lead of the race for Jeremy Alcoba. We thought Makar Yuchenko would have something in his pocket, but he didn't have it in the end. He'd take the lead, and that was the overtake that took the race victory. Aleix Villa was very close behind, of course, and then ended up going out, but we'll talk about that all in the highlights in a few. There is Jeremy Alcoba, congratulated by his team. A great result for all involved. So 0.68 of a second was the gap as they came over the timing line between Alcoba and Yuchenko. We'll get the full and final results for you in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. As I said, we've got another race coming up very shortly as well. There is Makar Yuchenko, being congratulated by his team. What a race from the Kazakhstani rider. We haven't seen this performance from him at all, really. He's been very, very quick. He was very quick last year, but this is easily his best result of the 2017 season, of course, only being in the first round, but easily his best result of his career in the FIM CEV Repsol. And next up, of course, more racing action as well. There is Jaume Masia, his team, very, very pleased, as you begin to imagine. Jaume Masia, of course, with the Cuna de Campeones team for 2017. A brand new team, of course, after he rode with the Junior Estrella Galicia team in 2016. And what a ride from the young Spaniard. Celebrations all round in the paddock. We'll cut down to Dakota in a few moments' time to talk to the winner of that race, and that was, of course, Jeremy Alcoba. What a race. So the flag's being readied on the top of the podium, as you can see. There we go for Alcoba. Just being congratulated a few more minutes by his team. Everybody understandably delighted with the result. There we go, being congratulated by his teammate as well. That was really very, very wonderful. Lovely weather conditions here in Albacete. Here are the final results for the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Jeremy Alcoba takes the win after 30 minutes and 41 seconds. Makar Yuchenko was just 0.06 of a second behind. Jaume Masia was third, Dennis Foggia fourth, Andy Farid in fifth, and Bruno Arlakci is in sixth place, with Garcia in seventh, and Apiwat Wongtananon just missing out of a top 5 finish. Vicente Perez, Charlie Nesbitt finishes in 11th place, his best result in CV so far. A brilliant result for him. Aaron Palenko 12th, Angel Nolente is in 13th, Lorenzo Petrarca in 14th place. Then we see Josito Garcia just inside the top 20. Aleix Ruiz is 19th, Matthias Megel in 20th position. Further down the order, you can see Clement Rouge in 24th position for the Frenchman. Jason de Pasquale in 25th for the Swiss rider. And then riders who failed to finish are Martinez Abrego, Nepa Montella, Chantra, Masaki, De Lagmart, Salak, Viu and Josh Owens, unfortunately. So it all didn't go well for Josh Owens. I wonder where he gone from the timing sheets, and unfortunately it was a failure to finish. Ayagura, Yuki Kuni and Alonso Lopez. A bad day in the office for the Asia Talent team. A really disappointing end to what was such a promising start to their season after Chantra took pole position and
Jeremy,
3 riders
race,
locked out the first 3 rows. Let's hear from the race winner then, Jeremy Alcoba.
The sun's come out after rain for the past 4 days. How did the race go?
Yes, I'm really happy with the result. I think did a good weekend and a good job. And thanks to my team, to sponsors, and all of people to help me.
Thank you.
Well, Jeremy Alcoba understandably delighted with that result. Very pleased indeed. Here's some highlights of the race then. It was Chantra on pole position from VU and the number 23 of Raul Fernandez. They went away from the lights. Everybody got away very well indeed. And there was not really much drama as they went into the first corner with Chantra leading the way. Everybody made a very good start, but unfortunately for Chantra, it would be Jeremy Alcoba who made an even better start to lead the way after the opening lap. So Alcoba led the way into the first corner. A fantastic start from all involved. There was some great stuff, but unfortunately not such a great incident for Raul Fernandez, who went straight into the back of one of the machines, and that also in turn ended the race of Alonso Lopez as well. So both riders out on the spot, and Lopez, an unfortunate rider, caught up in an incident that wasn't really his fault at all. Meanwhile, Makayuchenko was the star of the race. He managed to battle his way through into second position. Just behind him was Aleix Viu, and then came as well. Keep an eye out for him because he features very heavily later on in the race. Yuchenko took the lead very briefly from Alcoba, forced Alcoba to sit up into that turn 8 left-hander. And then Alcoba would fight back, of course, later on in the race. Unfortunately, though, it all went pear-shaped for Ayagura as he was taken out by Aleix Viu's machine as he sat up with a technical problem. Nowhere to go for Agura. Unfortunately, a disappointing end to his race. He was devastated, as you would begin to imagine. Later on in the race, though, however, it got a bit spicy as we went further down the order. As Jaume Masia made an absolute stonking start and a stonking race performance he put in as well. He finished that race in third position overall, of course, but started way down in 21st on the grid. And I forgot about that incident there between the two Asia Talent Team riders. That was a very big hit between Chantra. And there was Jari Montella's high side as well for the 658 team. He went down, the bike stricken in the middle of the road. He ran himself into safety, but the bike was there for a good moment or so. Meanwhile, Alcoba led the way ahead of that man there, Makar Yuchenko. Yuchenko looking calm, looking confident, and looking like he had the pace to try and take the victory. Unfortunately, it was not to be, and he would finish 600ths of a second behind, with Jeremy Alcoba taking first blood in the 2017 Junior Moto3 World Championship. Much to the delight of this team and, of course, the crowd here in Albacete as well, as you would begin to expect. Well, a wonderful result there. A great wheelie as well for Makar Yuchenko, and the two rivals congratulating each other on track, much to the applause of the crowd. A brilliant race in the Junior Moto3 World Championship, much to the acclaim of his team. And it sounded like he was very pleased with that result there, Dakota, as well.
Yeah, I was like, can you please talk to me in English? Usually, you know, they try to just speak their Spanish language. He's like, yeah, I'll try. So it was good to hear from him. And super happy. But can I say who was the happiest out of the three?
Go ahead.
Masia.
I can imagine.
Him and the team were just out of control because he started from 22nd.
That was really impressive indeed. We're going to get the national anthem in just a few moments' time. For Jeremy Alcoba, the Spanish national anthem will ring across the Albacete circuit, but a great result there for Jaume Masia. Let's get the...
It's the first ever name I've heard that's from Spanish that's Jeremy. Right?
Jeremy, yeah.
I would have thought he was English or something, but no.
Well, there you go, you see. Maybe they just, they're a big fan of...
Jeremy.
I'm trying to think of famous people called Jeremy.
McWilliams.
Yeah, exactly. And why? Maybe they're big fans of McWilliams. Why not?
There he is, Masia. I love that. He was crying. It was great to see. Even the whole, you know, I think it's from the team Cuna de Campeones from Valencia.
Yeah.
And it's great to see a ride like that from 22nd position to third. And then I saw him and I said, next time please start a little bit more in the front. Don't make it so hard on yourself.
Well, you never know what he's going to be able to do. He worked wonders on that Mahindra machine.
Yeah, and he crashed twice this weekend, so it's great. You know, not good for his confidence. So I think he'll be happy with that third place.
Very impressive indeed. There is the winner, Jeremy Alcoba, taking his trophy. Much to the delight and the acclaim, of course, of many of the people in Parc Fermé. And we'll get the Constructors' Trophy as well, I'm sure. There we go. What a race. What a start to the season in the Junior Moto3 World Championship as well. Absolutely fantastic way to kick off 2017 in style, exactly the way we wanted to continue it after what's a stunning end. Let's hear the national anthem.
El aplauso para los vencedores.
Jeremy Alcoba, the winner of the first round of the Moto3 Junior World Championship here in Albacete. What a race. What a race we were treated to. And you can see just how tall Makar Yuchenko is, the Kazakhstani rider alongside him. Despite being a few inches lower, you're actually practically the same height as well. Jaume Masia in third place after starting 22nd on the grid. What a way to kick off his 2017 campaign.
Yeah, I can't believe how tall Yurchenko was when I saw him. I was like,
Moto2 size.
Moto3?
Yeah.
Really?
Exactly, exactly. There we are, they're spraying their bottles of, what was it called?
Caseta.
Caseta, that's it. It looks like Yuchenko's got a bottle of bubbly as well.
He must be 18.
He's old enough, yeah, that probably makes a good amount of sense then. There we go, so he's got a bottle of nice bubbly.
I'd be sharing it with the two podium guys. Here, have a drink.
Exactly, exactly. Sneak this into your bottle for.
You see? There we go.
Oh dear, Jeremy Masia, Jaume Masia, very pleased with that. Oh, and Alcoba having a go as well. Great sportsmanship between the two. Don't go anywhere, we've got more racing on the way in just a couple of moments' time. European Talent Cup Race 2 is on the way next. Let's look at the championship standings for the FIM Junior World Championship in Moto3 first. Jeremy Alcoba, 25 points. 5 points behind is Makar Yuchenko. Then Jaume Masia in third. Denis Foggia fourth. Andy Farid in fifth. Bruno Palesi-Arachi in sixth place. Sergio Garcia, what a ride from him, way down the order into seventh position. Apiwat Wongtananon, the Thailand rider, is in eighth. Rory Skinner in ninth. Vincente Perez in 10th. Charlie Nesbitt in 11th. Aaron Palenko 12th. Angel Lorente is in 13th. Lorenzo Pachata in 14th. And Mattia Cassidy is in 15th position. Well, an exciting end. We've just about gotten our breath back from that race, I think, as well, haven't we?
Some exciting battles there, and unfortunately the crashes didn't help too much. But hopefully those Asian Talent Cup riders are okay, because that second one looked brutal into turn one.
Yeah, it certainly did. But we'll get the European Talent Cup underway in just a couple of moments' time. Let's go then, shall we? European Talent Cup up next. Welcome back to the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. It's round one here from Albacete. My name is Tom Brooks. Alongside me for this weekend, and indeed for this season, is Dakota Momola. We're live here in southern Spain. Lovely sunny conditions greeting the circuit for the final race of the afternoon. European Talent Cup Race 2. And after race 1, we should be everything but disappointed, or should we say we should be very excited for it. That's probably a better way of putting it, isn't it?
More excited now that we know what the gig is, and now after all these races, God, I don't think we're gonna have any breath left with all these battles, and especially in this class, it's great passing, and no, it's gonna be interesting to see the start of this race. Weather's good, and it seems to be warmer than the first race for them.
Yeah, it looks like it's nice weather conditions out there as well. The wind, it's still not too windy. It's died down a lot from what it was earlier on. It was very windy earlier today here in Albacete. And you can see just some preparations taking place as well. I wonder what the track temperature is. It'd be good to find that information out.
We'll soon know.
I'm sure we will. And be interested to know the different tyre choices that'll be competing on the European Talent Cup bikes. So if you didn't manage to join us for race 1, let's just remind you a bit about the European Talent Cup. It is a brand new championship in 2017 on the support bill for the FIM CEV Repsol. And it derives from the Asian Talent Cup. The Asian Talent Cup, if you are a fan of that, then of course you'll pretty much know what the European Talent Cup is all about. about. However, if this is perhaps your first time watching motorcycle racing, well, first of all, welcome along. It's great to have you here. But the European Talent Cup basically is designed to nurture riders from the ages of 12 up until the ages of 17. Give them like a starting point, basically, because there's so many different places that perhaps don't support motorcycle racing as much as some other countries, and they find it really hard to get that avenue in. And that's what the European Talent Cup is all about, basically, is nurturing those riders, giving them an opportunity to ride a motorcycle, to get a bike at a cut price. Don't want to sell the bikes at a very reasonable price for people to compete in and to compete with. And it's a really, really good start to compete on European Championships, and especially in their later career, Dakota, it's going to help them massively because they'll have already had experience of those tracks.
No, definitely. It's a great championship to, like you said, to start. It's a great stepping stone for young kids that have talent, and for sure, you know, it's probably cheap. You know, it's not as expensive as what it gets once you start getting higher classes. So, and it's a great way of people to see, and teams in that, to see fast, you know, coming rivals for the future. And like you said, 12 to 17-year-old, a lot of them I know are 12 to 13, 14, very, very young riders from all over the world. And yeah, I hope we can get another good race like we had in this morning.
Indeed, yeah, the 3.5-kilometer circuit here in Albacete. And here was the man who did very, very well in the opening race, Maikon Kawakami, the Brazilian rider with a Japanese name. It's always a bit confusing, that one. He started from pole position and ended up finishing on the podium as well. So that was a really good result for Maikon. There was some great racing that went on in that first race. We need to refresh ourselves, really. Hopefully we'll be able to find out a bit more about it, I'm sure. I think we will get some highlights in a few moments as well. Keep an eye out for this man as well, Joan Uvinha, the Spaniard, the number 23. He could prove to be very interesting in the race. He's been training in motocross and trials riding during the off-season as well. And just a bit of information for you on these European Talent Cup bikes. They are all exactly the same Honda NSF 250R machines. Exactly the same motorcycles. And that's what makes it really exciting. That's what makes the racing so close in that sense as well,
exactly.
Isn't it?
It's all about the rider. And especially in this class, a lot about the weight. The weight's important, and slipstream.
Exactly. Andres Perez there. Keep an eye out for him because he was quick but unlucky in that opening race after going down, of course. He ended up having a big crash in race one. We'll talk you through that, of course, in just a few moments' time. So bikes being ready, preparations being made.
Gonzalez.
There he is, Manuel Gonzalez. Again, another stonking race it was for the number 18. He was battling right in and amongst the podium right until the very end, and ended up finishing on that rostrum as well for the first time in 2017. What will be interesting is if Perez is able to finish this time around as well, because he was looking very confident. But this man, he was the victor of the race one in Denmark, from Denmark, I should say, rather. Simon Jespersen.
Great race he did in the first one.
That was very, very quick. And he just looked so calm and so confident, didn't he? Just nothing fazed him at all.
But another rider that was really fast was Perez. And unfortunately, he had that jump start. And he know how to do that pit lane penalty. But hopefully he don't make any mistakes and he can run with him and try to win it.
Falcaniero there lines up in 6th position on the grid. Of course, qualifying yesterday was wet, so these grid orders perhaps aren't as representative as you would imagine of the actual overall pace in the dry conditions here today, of course. It is a bit of a difference in the pecking order, but that only makes the racing more exciting in the European Talent Cup, and it certainly means that we are looking forward to getting it underway. Alex Toledo, now keep an eye out for him. He was so quick in the opening race. I think if he'd qualified better, we could have seen him romp away out in front, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And grid's always important, and qualifying's always important for confidence and for those first opening laps to try to get a good start and try to get away with that front group, because it's really tough. If you lose a gap with the front group, it's really tough to gain that gap again. So.
And Miguel Pala, he was very unlucky in the opening race after suffering that ride-through penalty, of course, and really put him back. Mind you, he finished in 7th place, which is very impressive nonetheless.
No, I mean, like I said, he's fast. He's definitely a rider to look for winner, and he showed the lap times when he was out there riding by himself. So if he can get a good start here and go with the front guys and try to stay with Jespersen and them, I think he's going to be one to watch for that podium finish.
Indeed, we just saw a glimpse of Jamie Davis, one of the top Britons competing in the field, one of 3 Britons competing in the European Talent Cup this year, alongside Callum Blackwell and Jack Hart. There's Iker Garcia, the Spaniard for the Realia Avintia Academy rider. I will get it right one day, you know. It's taken all day.
Listen, it's the end of the day. We're tired, and we'll give it to you here, Tom.
It's
race.
It's been a long weekend, hasn't it?
First weekend of the season, so.
Indeed, I'm still probably trying out from yesterday, to be honest with you. Such was the weather. Let's get the tyre allocation for that race and find out who's going to be lining up. And it is exactly the same as the first race, all on mediums.
And track temperature's 19, so it's basically hasn't really changed from this morning, 20 to 18 to 19 now. So everything should be the same.
Indeed, lining up in 11th place is Edouard Melgar. Keep an eye out for him. Meanwhile, final preparations are taking place. The alarm is sounded, and that does mean then that we've only got a few more minutes to go.
I think it's 3 or 5.
3 or 5 minutes to go before we get this race. 5 minutes to go before we get this race underway. Here's the Frenchman. And forget the pronunciation of this race, of this name, rather, I should say. That's Aurel Noël Velake, I believe, something along the lines of that. He's a French rider. I'm terrible with my pronunciations, unfortunately.
We need to get Spanish right, and then the French pronunciation.
Really bodes well for a commentator not being able to pronounce things correctly. That's the one there.
Aurel.
There we are. Aurel. I can't roll my R's. That's my problem, you see. Dear, oh dear. Everybody is very excited for this final race of the day, and I'm very interested to see how Kawakami gets on. Here's Francisco Gomez, the number 9. And Francisco, again, like many people, been training in pit bikes and motocross in the off-season, and has also raced in the RMFE Moto3 Championship in 2016 as well, where I don't think he did too badly at all.
No, I didn't really follow that championship, but I know a lot of riders in this championship here in the CEV FIM. They've come from that championship, so definitely new upcoming fast riders on this side.
Stefano Cristin we just saw there, the Italian rider of Beretti. Now, interestingly, because normally we see people competing in the RMFE Moto3 Championship or perhaps Moto Star in the UK, something like that, Stefano has actually come from the Adria Road Racing Championship in Italy, which is
really
not a championship I'd actually personally heard of before we...
Which one?
The Alpe Road Racing Championship. I believe it's...
I raced in CIV, which is the Italian championship there, but I've never heard of that one.
No, different championship. I'd never heard of it either. But doing my research, I thought, oh, okay, there you go. So it's nice to see people, though, taking those different routes in.
Yeah, it's great to see that. And it's great to see people coming from all different types of areas. And that's when you see, where's this kid come from? He's got so much talent, and then you don't know these championships these kids come from. But like you said, this class right here gives you the opportunity.
Here's the grid then. Kawakami, Uviña, Perez on the front row. Gonzalez, Jesperson and Cañero on row 2. Then row 3 is Toledo, Parra and Jamie Davis. Keep an eye out for him. That could be very interesting. Row 4, Iker Garcia, Edouard Melgar and Aurel Noël Velake. Row 5, Francisco Gomez, Stefano Cristin and Angeles Vostatek. Row 6 is Jose Suarez, Alejandro Diez and Vincent Falcone. The French rider, of course, lining up at the back of the 6th row of the grid. And then further down the order towards the rear end, we see Matteo Gregorio, Colin Feldhuisen, Callum James Blackwell, Jack Hart, Victor Alonso, Samantha Johansson, the Swedish rider, and Kevin Almeida, who suffered a very nasty high side. It was actually a rear end loss, of course, in that opening race.
Yeah, it was really weird.
A really unusual crash for Kevin Almeida, so we'll hopefully see how well the Estonian will be able to get on for this season. He's competed in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, actually, towards the end of 2016 as well. So he's certainly got some good talent there on the grid. There's some great talent on the grid for this season, and it'll be very interesting to see who will get the drag down towards the first corner here in Albacete. We're just moments away before the riders will get themselves on the formation lap for the final race of the day. Get in touch with us for the course of this afternoon. Please do. We're on Twitter as well, of course, at CEV Motorcycle. We'd love to hear from you, hear your thoughts on the racing that we've seen today, perhaps whether it was in Moto3, Moto2, or perhaps in the European Talent Cup. Let us know your thoughts ahead of this upcoming race. It is great to have your company wherever in the world you are listening or indeed watching from. So the personnel cleared from the grid, and then it's just man and machine.
100%. I can't wait for it to start.
Very, very exciting indeed. So last preparations taking place. And then we'll get these Honda NSF 250R machines underway for the formation lap. Clouding over slightly here in Albacete. The weather conditions looking pretty good though, as the formation lap gets underway, and we'll finally get racing underway this afternoon in 2016. Simon Jespersen took the victory in the opening race of the season. Will he be able to repeat the same feat from the second row, the middle of the second row, from 5th position on the grid? That is going to be the interesting thing to find out. If Perez can stay on, of course, after crashing out in the opening race, will he be able to mount a challenge from the outside of the front row? Or will we see the likes of Miguel Parra, without that penalty, with a bit of luck this time, mounting a charge from the 3rd row of the grid?
Well, Jespersen right now is in a good position. He's got 25 points from the first race, so he already knows where he can be in this race. Same conditions, so he doesn't have so much pressure. He just needs to basically make it through the first few corners of the first lap. You know, get a good start, and then just settle for those 18 laps until the last few laps before the battle starts again.
Absolutely. So, what goes through your mind when you're on a formation lap? By the way, I want to know this.
Tires. That's all you want. Tires and temperature is so important, especially the first lap, because in the first lap, you're trying to pass people, or you're trying to, brake really deep to try to get as far ahead as you can, because it's so important the first few laps to try to get that. That good start and try to go with the front group. So you try to get as much heat in them tires, and it's super important to get heat, and especially sometimes you get racetracks that there's a lot more rights than lefts, and it's so important to get that left hot, because you go into that first lap and it's right, and then you forget about that left, and that left side of the tire is cold, you lose the front, and you see that so many times happen. Even in the World Championship, professional riders like in MotoGP, it's happened before. So that's what's the most important, and also to stay focused and calm for that start.
Yes, indeed. So the riders lining up on the grid for the final time today here in Albacete. There is your pole man, Maikon Kawakami. Keep an eye out for him. He's on the outside of the track in towards that first corner. Alongside him, Joan Uviña and Andreas Perez, Manuel Gonzalez, Jespersen and Cañero. That is the front row of the grid. We wait then for 18 laps of the European Talent Cup here in Albacete. The green flag is waved at the back. We wait for the lights to come on here in Albacete. The European Talent Cup in 2017 is underway, and it's a great start from Uviña. He gets a brilliant getaway, as does Perez, into the first start of the lap. Who's going to lead the way down in towards the first corner? It's going to be very close. Here comes Gonzalez up the inside, but it's going to be Perez that leads the way. Andreas Perez gets a brilliant start into the first corner to lead the way on the number 77, trying to make amends for race 1. A great getaway from him. Gonzalez in second place. Uviña is in 3rd place. And where has Kawakami gone off the side of that grid? He's now in 4th position. So Kawakami on the PlayStation Leglise bike into P4. That's a really big shame there for him, because he's going to have to try and make up that ground. Everybody making it very cleanly through on the opening few corners. That's the important thing in the European Talent Cup. But Perez leads the way. A great start from him. Gonzalez in 2nd place, then Uviña is in 3rd. He's trying to go quick early on. This is where he struggled last time out, and he's looking pretty good on that Honda machine already. Trying to have a look up the inside of Gonzalez there, Dakota.
Yeah, he knows he's got the pace, and he wants as bad as everyone else, especially after the first race he's had. And, he has the pace. He knows he does, and he just has to, not get too ahead of himself right away, because there's still 18 laps to go. So long race to go.
Indeed there is. So we come down the back straight. This is where we'll see the slipstreaming really taking effect on these smaller machines. Brilliant start from Uvinia. That's great for him. He started, of course, in second place, now down into third position, but he's really battling in and amongst these point-paying positions. Gonzalez had a little bit of a look up the inside of the leader, Andreas Perez, but no way through for him there. Where's Jespersen got off the start as well?
I'm trying to find him there.
Started in the middle of the second row, but not made the headway that he did last time out, that's for sure. Over the timing line we go to complete the first lap out of 18. Now down to 17. Gonzalez. Here comes Uvinia up the inside as we go into the first corner. Gonzalez hits the front. Uvinia tries to take second, but around the outside, holding it, goes Andreas Perez. So that's brilliant riding from Perez. Gonzalez gets into second, and Uvinia does get himself up into P3. So,
Jespersen's there. He's in 5th place. He's just behind this group, so he's not too far away, so he'll be fine.
Indeed. So Gonzalez, the Spaniard, leads the way. It's a great race for the number 18, of course, competing with the Halcordia Racing team. Second place at the moment of Perez in the Realia Avintia Academy team.
Parra is also there.
Indeed, yeah, Miguel Parra. That's really exciting to see because, of course, he made a really disastrous start. Well, a jump start, of course, in the last race, which really put him quite a bit further back down the field. Meanwhile, second place changes hands. Uvinia goes up the inside of Perez. So Perez now moves down into third place on the Realia Avintia Academy machine. Uvinia second. Really big wobble on the front there, wasn't that?
John, he broke a little deep in there. He's got a riding style like Marquez would put in his leg out, and, or all these riders. He's the only one, I think, that puts his leg out in this race.
Very deep on the brakes. Miguel Parra as well. Keep an eye out for him on the number 26. He's on the white machine. Not quite in this shot, but just at the back of it. As here goes Uvinia on the inside. Will he make it stick? Yes, he does. Uvinia hits the front then. He leads the way. A brilliant start from him. Into second place then.
Watch the slipstream, how important. He'll just get past.
Indeed.
All that hard work for nothing.
Indeed. Kawakami in 4th place at the moment. Now trying to make that 3rd as he looks at the inside of Uvinia, makes it stick indeed, and holding on to the lead of the race.
That's why you don't have to get frustrated. You know, don't get frustrated in the first few laps to try to pass guys, because they're just going to repass you with no effort on that front straight. So just wait.
It's incredibly close between them. Manuel Gonzalez now leads the way ahead of Andreas Perez. So Perez second place at the moment for the Spaniards. So it's Spaniards 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. Then the Brazilian of Maikon Kawakami. 3 laps out of 18 completed. The battle for first position really going on. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bikes in and amongst that as well. That's very impressive indeed. In fact, 7 bikes because Toledo's right on the back of that group as well.
Jespersen's at the back.
Indeed, there he is. There is Toledo in 7th position. 1:39.350, fastest lap last time around, and that is as quick as we saw in race 1 as well. Very quick pace.
Yeah, I think the lap times will keep going down. You know, the more these boys ride around here in the dry.
Yes, indeed. So leading the way in the opening stage is Manuel Gonzalez, I should say. Joan Uvinia in 3rd place as Perez is into 2nd. And there, by the looks of things, looks like it's is that number 26? Is that no? In fact, it's
Parra.
Parra, yeah, it is. Yeah, Parra, number 26. So yeah, Parra into good position into P4 in the opening stages of this race. They blast onto the main straight, and now going to be side by side as well between the two leaders. As well, Gonzalez just got the lead over the line. Uvinia, they're looking to try and change that, and here comes Perez into play as well. Uvinia very late on the brakes, and that front headstock wobbling very, very much as well there, Dakota.
Like I said, there's a little, you know, a gap in this crowd where the top 7 are in 39s, and then you get the guys in the back that are doing 41. So there's always that little gap between those 2 groups. So it seems like it's going to be a season with 7 riders a lot of times, and unless the rest, you know, gain their feeling back with other racetracks. And but definitely it's a good start of the race. And Toledo just made the fastest lap of the race, 39.3 right now. That's a fun lap time.
Indeed, he's 1,000th quicker than he was last time around. That's very impressive consistency from Alex Toledo. Lap 4 out of 18 we're on here in Albacete. A great race going on at the front. 7 riders battling for the lead. There's Perez. Just behind Perez is Kawakami. an eye out as well for that man, Alex Toledo as well. He finished, of course, on that podium in the opening race. Will he be able to repeat the same feat here in race number 2, the final race of the day here in Albacete? Pada pulls out of the slipstream of Kawakami. Can't quite make anything stick there at the moment, not close enough on this occasion. Meanwhile, really going on out of the front between Gonzalez and Uvinha. Uvinha looks to try and take it for the lead, but can't make it stick into turn 12. Top 2. So that's really interesting that's going on between them.
Yeah, but there you go again, the slipstream. You know, the slipstream game. It's a slipstream game. This race, and every time I see Uvinha break with his leg out, I'm thinking there's an issue or something with the bike, but it's just his riding style.
Indeed, the old air brake system as well. Is it actually quite effective, that? Because I've always wondered.
A lot of people, ask the same question. What does that actually do? And Rossi's actually one of the first ones that started it in MotoGP. And think how much a leg might weigh. Okay, let's say it weighs about 7-8 kilos. If you put your leg out like that, that's 7 or 8 kilos that's drifting you towards the corner. It might help you. Most riders are using it, so it must help those riders. But then you see riders like Jorge Lorenzo that don't need it and are fast too. So it depends. Everyone has their own style of riding.
Yes, indeed. There is Kawakami just behind Perez at the moment, so sitting in 4th place at the moment for the Brazilian. Looking good, that PlayStation Leglise bike has a really lovely livery as well. I do quite like the look of it.
Yeah, Leglise, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they always have a nice color.
Wide from the leader from Gonzalez. Uvinha sneaks the opportunity up the inside. Will he make the move stick? Yes, he's into the lead of the race. So goes Uvinha. Here comes Perez, though. So it's going to be 2 positions in 2 corners lost for Manuel Gonzalez. That's a disaster there for him. Well, I say a disaster. He's only in 3rd place, but he is still very close to the leading group. Here comes Para up the inside of the number 83 of Kawakami. Will he make that stick? Yes, indeed he does. Into 4th place. So great race there trying to commence for that opening race.
Good group right here, huh? 7 riders.
Indeed, any one of these 7 riders could win this race
100%.
as well.
You could be in 7th and win it. So not until the last few laps you'll see the nearly clipped them in turn 1.
Very close indeed.
That's another thing. These boys are racing so close to each other. It's a great feeling. It's hard to explain.
Here's Uvinha up the inside. Perez into the lead once again, and Gonzalez not far behind as well on the Halcuria racing machine. Keep an eye out for that. But Uvinha, the Spaniard, leads the way. He's looking good, he's looking calm, he's looking confident. And he is leading the way here in the European Talent Cup. Riders, of course, aged between 13 and 17 years old. Most of the riders in this leading group are actually just 15 years old, which is so impressive to see them battling at this level at that age.
Yeah, they do say start them young, so they definitely do. And I mean, Dorna did a great job also, putting this championship up, because it creates this kind of racing, and this is the kind of racing that's missing, I think, in the world, is close battling, like in Moto3, just like in this class. It's great to see, and for the fans, it's even better. And I think most fans, though, wish it was like 5 laps, because it's usually the last 5 laps that are the most crazy laps with these boys. But it's great to see this. It's great to see this again, and great to see so many passes too.
Indeed, Uvinha late on the brakes there, just holding off the challenge of Perez. And then just behind Kawakami, looks like it's Pano at the moment. Over the time line we go.
Everyone's on the 39s, mid 39s, which is just the average pace that they did in race 1 too. So, and then from 7th back to 8th, which is there's a gap of 10 seconds. They're in the 41s.
Here comes Gonzalez, hits the front rather, I should say. Ahead now of the number 77, Perez. Perez looks to try and take it back as Uvinha also in amongst the mix there as well. A bit wide from Gonzalez. Does that allow Perez through? Yes, it does. Perez goes through. No, it doesn't. Actually, he loses out as Perez by another position as well as Uvinha goes through. So that's very interesting there. They come on towards this back straight, and this is the slipstream battle once again. Lap 7 out of 18 we're on here in Albacete, the final race of the afternoon in the European Talent Cup.
The problem also, well, it's not a problem, but in situations like this with groups this big, if you relax a half a second, 2 of them will go underneath you in the blink of an eye. It's crazy. So you got to be 100% focused and ready for anything.
Certainly has.
Parra trying to go underneath Kawakami.
He didn't manage to make the boost.
God, it's tough to remember all these names, all these different nationality names.
Indeed, yeah. How do you think I'm coping with it as well? I mean, I've got to identify everybody and fill in most of it. Oh, dearie me. But there we go. Part of the job you sign up for, I suppose, isn't it? Here comes Perez late on the brakes up the inside of Gonzalez into turn 12. Oh, very, really very wide. But he held on to it. That was impressive. That was very impressive indeed. So he holds on to second place and just a bit of breathing space for Uvinia at the moment as well. That's going to be really important as they come over the line. Lap 7 out of 18, so now 10 laps, under 10 laps remaining as they come over the timing line. Here comes Kawakami up the inside of Gonzalez, makes it stick. Gets the move done, he's up into third position for Kawakami, so the Brazilian fights back. Meanwhile, we've got a rider that's gone down. I can't quite tell who that is from this angle. We'll give you more information on that as soon as we can. Here we go. It's going to be the number 21, surely, that goes down. Indeed it is, and that is a disaster. Yeah, it is Falcone, you're quite right there. Very disappointing again. At least he's okay, but a simple front-end washout there by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think that's the same corner someone else crashed on. I forgot who it was. It's actually back then when we used to race here. There used to be a lot of bumps there, and a lot of riders used to crash into there because it was a really fast right-hander, and the bumps always used to unsettle that front end, and it's an easy front-end crash.
Here comes Jespersen, the victor of race 1, up the inside of Alex Toledo, gets the move done and dusted. Toledo, though, fights back into the next corner, but can't make it stick, so Jespersen moved himself up into what looks to be 6th position. Indeed it is, P6 for Jespersen. So the Danish rider having a bit of a tougher time in this race as Parra looks up the inside ever so slightly of Kawakami. That was for 4th position, but couldn't make it stick. Meanwhile, leading the way, Uvinia ahead of Perez at the moment. Into the left-hander we go, the turn 12 chicane. Uvinia, this is very impressive riding from him, because I thought after the first race, I thought, I'm not sure if he's going to have the pace to be able to stick with these guys, because he kind of faded in the latter stages of the race. But now he's looking better than ever.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes these boys, between race 1 and 2, can make a slight change on the bike in settings or whatever it is, and you never know if Uvinia, talked through the team and they've made a slight change on the bike, and maybe it's improved it.
Yes, indeed. So leading the way, Uvinia ahead of Toledo. 9/10 of a second separated them as they came across the timing line. It's a lot less than that now, just a few tenths of a second, really. But Perez holding on to the lead from Uvinia at the moment. Perez, this has been a really impressive ride from him as well. And Jespersen sitting inside the top 6. He'll have been hoping for that championship extension after taking that victory in the opening race. But I guess consistency is always the key. The old saying goes, you can't win the championship in the first race, but you can certainly lose it.
Yeah, and he might be just waiting. He might be just waiting to see what these boys are doing. And he's probably thinking, let these boys, smash into each other. I'll just watch, sit here and watch, and then in the last laps I'll come through. He could be doing that too.
Uvinia hits the front ahead of Perez on lap 9 out of 18. Brilliant riding from both riders. Brilliant riding from everybody, really, to keep so controlled and so calm. Oh, my goodness me. Was that a bit of a knock there from himself and Uvinia? That was very close, yeah. My goodness me. That was very close indeed. Hopefully we can get a replay of that at some point, because that'll be interesting to see what happens. Here comes Kawakami. Trying to indeed, trying a bit of a slick move up the inside, couldn't quite make it stick, so it is then Perez who leads the way from Uvinia. Then comes Kawakami as they come over the timing line to start the 10th lap. Here we go, here's that contact. Let's have a little bit of a look. Here's Perez. Oh my goodness, that really unsettled.
That's actually that was on purpose, basically. That was like, hey, get out of the way or something, but there was no need for that. Because I don't see, Uvinia doing anything wrong.
Indeed, there were banging fairings there. That was perhaps maybe a bit naughty from Perez, do we think? So we'll have to wait and...
I remember when I was racing in 125s, we used to slipstring each other on the front straight, and we used to tap each other with the elbows on that front straight, because it used to be the longest straightaway sometimes, like Barcelona and this, and just a little tap. Love tap, let's just say, but that was not a love tap. That was more of like, hey, get out of the way tap.
I really like watching Uvinia's riding style as well. He's got a really unique
Watch him pass here. He'll probably give him a sign like, hey, move out of the way.
Let's have a little bit of a look. There he goes.
No, I thought he was going to give him a little kick or something.
Oh dear.
I would have anyway, so.
Just a bit of a sign,
Give him a little,
a bit of sign language on the motorcycle. So Perez in second place. Kawakami is in third position. It's
nearly a high side from Uviña.
Indeed, he's going to have lost ground as well. Here comes Perez up the inside. Here comes Kawakami too. Oh, that was very close indeed. And Perez gets the move done and dusted. Here comes Kawakami though, the Brazilian rider, trying to find a way through against Uviña. Will he do it into the turn 12 chicane? He's going to have to defend as well from Gonzalez, very close behind. Doesn't manage to make it stick at the moment. So it is Perez that leads the way from Uviña at the moment. They're coming over around the final corner to start another lap of racing here at Albacete. Over the timing line we go, and that slipstream once again.
Yep. Makes a difference.
Certainly
Another
does.
plastic bag from Mercadona running through the straightaway.
Into the first corner we go with Uviña. The plastic bag makes a return as we see a new leader hitting the front. Andreas Perez leads the way. What a race it's been from these boys. I love watching Uviña's riding style though. The way he hangs off of that bike. And just
I love the way he brakes, and he's definitely a Honda rider.
He's a big, tall rider as well. You can see just how much extra height he's carrying compared to some of the other riders.
I want him to get... This is just a racer's mentality. I would just make Perez, keep passing Perez and making him frustrated, because that's the way, every rider's on his own. And if you can, get someone to frustrate, and, that's how you'll be, that's how you'll beat them, is frustrating other riders in different ways. And that's... I can tell Perez is getting frustrated because Uviña keeps passing him after every little straightaway. And it is what... Look, he's just getting up.
Here we go. Very, very close racing. The top 7 riders separated by little over a second. What other championship would you get this closest of racing in? Well, probably Moto3, actually, if we thought about it. But it's incredible nonetheless. The European Talent Cup really living up to all of the expectations and some more.
Right there again, Uviña shoves Perez out, and now Perez shuffles back to third. So
here comes Gonzalez, though. He's
a great way to mess him up.
Yeah, Gonzalez has been nowhere over the last couple of laps, and he's really moved up into a good position. Should mention Jamie Davis is sitting in 9th place as well in this race. Jamie Davis looking great out there, the Briton. They come over the timing line, the leading 7 riders. Normally you call it a quartet or a trio or something, but there's no word for 7 riders, really, is there?
No.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head anyway.
No, I can't say.
I'm trying to think of what's the shape called with the 7 riders. You've got the hexagon, and then you've got the whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I was at school.
Oh, another rider.
Oh, dearie me. That's Jack Hart, the British rider. Jack Hart goes down. A disaster for the Scotsman. He is a very small lad. I commentated on him in one of the national championships in the UK last year, and he went out and dominated the field. It was on a mini bike as well. It was very impressive. I really like that. Just 12 years old is Jack Hart, so disappointing end to his day, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'll regroup and come back stronger. He's a nice lad as well. Here comes Uviña up the inside of Perez, into the right, into the left-hander. Will he make the move stick? He's got the line, and he's got the place as well. And now here comes Gonzalez as well. So this is very, very close racing indeed. And Perez looking a little bit of a look up the inside of Gonzalez as well. So this is all to play for. I think the last 3 laps of this race,
it's going to be gnarly.
It certainly is. If they all stay on the motorcycles, I'll be amazed.
No, let's just hope that there's no crashes. But no, you know what I love is Uviña. He's just, every time he gets past, he tries to pass again in the very next corner, and that's just that's a great, great rider to see.
Certainly is. Into the left, right chicane we go. Uviña leads the way, looking like he's got a little bit of a gap as they go through there, but of course as we go onto the straight, that's when it all gets dissipated, doesn't it? So Andreas Perez leads the way ahead of Gonzalez. Here comes the number 26 of Parra as well. Keep an eye out for him as well on the white bike as well, with the orange splashes to his leathers. Into that first corner, here comes Gonzalez, who hits the front. Gonzalez gets 2 in 1 into the first corner. A great move there for the Spaniard. He hits the front. Second place then Perez, third. At the moment still looks like it is, yes indeed, Uviña. So Uviña in third position at the moment. Then comes the number 26 of Miguel Parra, of course, who suffered that such misfortune in the first race.
See that?
Yeah, somebody else
tries to get underneath everyone super quick. I love it.
So Gonzalez still out in front. Uviña trying to take him back though. Careful, son. He's got 5 laps left of racing here, so he doesn't need to go too quick too soon. Down the back straight into that left-handed kink of turn 7. Incredibly close racing. We hope you're enjoying this as much at home as we are up here in the commentary box. Gonzalez from Uvinha in the European Talent Cup, the brand new European Talent Cup in 2017. A brand new addition to the FIM CEV Repsol, and a very welcome addition at that as well. Into the right-hander we go. Very close indeed. And the top two, again, kind of broken away, but it's not going to be for long. We know that already. And here comes Para up the inside, or has a bit of a look at the inside of Perez, but can't quite make it stick at the moment. Uvinha deeper on the brakes, into the lead of the race. So 6 laps now remain here at the European Talent Cup. Simon Jespersen took the victory in the first race. He doesn't look like he's going to have to do the same thing in the second race, but we never know. Stranger things have happened in motor racing. Anything can happen, and it usually does as well. Gonzalez into second place. Who's going to get the maximum battle of the slipstream into the first corner? Here comes Gonzalez, but Uvinha brakes late and cuts his nose off. Holds on to it. That was very close riding between the two.
You know, Uvinha is very strong on the brakes, and it's going to be hard for the rest of them to pass him into the brakes. The only way I see them passing him is in the slipstream.
Gahara had a little bit of a look up the inside for the podium as well. Gahara's come from a couple of positions back as well. He's looking great out there. He was trying to get ahead of Perez. Didn't quite manage it. We'll have to live on to try and fight another day. So 5 laps now to go. Here at the European Talent Cup. Down the back straight we go. Uvinha from the number 18 on Gonzalez. Incredibly close racing between the two. First British rider still being held on to by Jamie Davis, who is in 10th position so far in this race. And all of these riders, again, the lap times still battling within a few tenths of a second of each other. Yeah,
it's like, you know, those top 7 guys are just fairly on the high 39s, low 40s, and it's going to stay like that for the rest of the race with these 5 laps to go. Especially now with all this passing, they're going to be going 3 or 4 tenths slower each lap. So, but it'll be interesting to see if Jespersen have anything else to show, because they've been lingering in the back of this group for most of the race, and with 5 laps to go, you need to start shuffling up the board if you want to have a chance to be on that podium.
Certainly do. So 3rd place being held on to by Kawakami at the moment. Close behind him is Perez. Over the timing line we go. Uvinha leads the way. You can see this pitboard for the Team Stratos outfit. That is
Gonzalez.
Indeed,
easy slipstream.
Yes, fantastic for Gonzalez. Moves himself into the lead. Uvinha down to 2nd.
Perez in 3rd.
And they've already broken away quite significantly from the 7th place man of, sorry, the 8th place man, I should say, of Cañada as well. He's having a great race after retiring in the first one as well. So that's a really good recovery and a nice top 10 finish for him. I'm sure he'll be pleased with.
Fastest lap time with 39.3, but that was at the beginning of the race. Oh no, that was last lap.
Last lap. So that's
wow, that was just right now. So that just shows you that these boys with those tires, they can do a fast lap even in the last lap. Yeah, it don't matter how many laps those tires have done.
Here comes Uvinha up the inside. He hits the front. So 2nd place. Oh, big moment for Uvinha. Holds on to the bike and up the inside. What a move! Joe and Uvinha take a bow for that one.
That was planned. That was his plan.
That was incredible. Such a bobble, and then gets the move done.
That's to scare the people away around him. He's like, get out of my way.
Gonzalez, that was right on the limit there. Gonzalez now down into 2nd place. Here's a replay. Let's have a look. Watch the front man. Uvinha, look at that bobble. Nearly high sides it. Into the right-hander. Sweet as you like. Up the inside. Thanks very much. And into the lead.
He's actually had 2 or 3 moments like this in this race.
And I'm streaming out of the final corner now. Uvinha leads the way from Perez. 4 laps to go. Soon to become 3. There's the team looking on.
Efren Vasquez helping. I'm not sure which rider he's helping out, but I'm not sure which tent he was in.
Oh my goodness me, that was a really late move there from Para. Yes, indeed. Yeah, he was trying to find a way through, but couldn't quite make it stick.
No, it wasn't Para, sorry. It was Perez. Perez is first now.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, so Perez leads the way. 2nd place being held on to at at the moment by Gonzalez. Then it is Uviña. Then it is Kawakami.
It's all these different, you know, so many passes. You don't know who's leading it after, like, you turn around and then there's a leader from 7th place.
Exactly. If we had to go out for a quick drink or something like that, we looked away from the screen. You couldn't do it because everything would have changed by the time you come back. Simon Jespersen sitting towards the rear end of this group, looking good though, looking to try and continue his championship charge, or at least continue in the way that he started the championship after taking that victory in the opening race. There is Andreas Perez. He's not first in the race. He's actually in 3rd position. Is Perez. That's sorry, no, apologies. Perez is leading the way. I apologise. 2nd place is Uviña, and then 3rd at the moment. Sorry, in 2nd place is Gonzalez, 3rd place is Uviña, then 4th is Kawakami. There we are. The position's changing so much. So again, you can't keep up. That's how quickly it's all changing. Here comes Gonzalez, looking at the inside of Perez, but can't quite find a way through. Perez going deep into that corner once again. He likes that deeper line, doesn't he? Do you think it's intentional?
At these points, it's nothing's intentional, I think, and it looks like you know, it looks like Parra and Jespersen and Toledo in the back are hanging on, but they just, you know, they can't get through that field to go up in the front. So it's definitely going to be in between, you know, Uviña, Perez, and Gonzalez, I have a feeling.
Yes, indeed. Very, very close indeed. Where else would you see 6 riders battling for these positions? Incredibly close as Gonzalez leads the way with 2 laps now remaining. Next time around, they'll start their last lap here at the circuit of Albacete. Will they all finish? And if so, how close will they be separated by? And who is going to take that checkered flag? Down the back straight we go. Incredibly close as Gonzalez leads the way from Perez, leads the way from Kawakami. And Uviña's been shuffled back ever so slightly in this lap as well. He's now down and tries to, I say that, gets himself up the inside by the looks of things, or tried to at least, of Kawakami. But Kawakami holding on to that 3rd
nearly
place.
Crashes again, Uviña.
Do you think his tyres might have gone?
I think his rear tire seems to have some issue, or because he keeps on, you know, having these high side moments. So he's had the same one again in turn 8, where we saw him, you know, nearly crash last time. But it looks like Kawakami's back in the front.
Yes, indeed. So no, it's Gonzalez leads the way. 2nd place of Perez, 3rd of Kawakami at the moment. 2 laps to go, soon to become 1 here at the circuit.
Anyone's race right here.
Certainly is. Slipstream battles as they come across the line. You don't want to be leading really as you go into the final lap. Here we go. Who's going to hit the front? It looks like it's going to be Perez who takes the advantage. Indeed he does. Here comes Kawakami on the outside and gets the move done into 2nd place. That's brilliantly done, and manages to get it stopped as well. Into the chicane we go. So it's Perez who leads the way from Kawakami. 3rd place at the moment being held onto by Gonzalez. They come into that turn 4 hairpin. Oh, bit of a look there from Kawakami, trying to make amends for that race 1 where he started so strongly and then faded back towards the end.
Perez needs to close that door, because if he leaves any door open, Perez is going to try to go in.
Certainly does. So they come down the back straight. Slipstream City once again as we go in towards the left-hander. No opportunities being presented so far. On to the brakes though in just a couple of seconds time. Here comes Kawakami. Is he going to think about it? He has a look but can't quite make it stick through there. And then all the while it's all happening further back as well as Jespersen looks to try and get his way past Toledo as well. Does he do it? Yes indeed he does.
Uviña's there in 3rd. I wouldn't. Oh, he's so strong on the brakes.
Oh my goodness me, that was very close between Uviña and Kawakami as they came round that right-hander. It is still going to be
oh no,
Perez who leads the way. They're coming up against some lap traffic in the form of the number 20 Samantha Johansson.
Right here, Uviña's going to pass both of them.
This is going to be very close indeed into the turn 12 and 13 chicane. Here we go. Here's Kawakami on the inside. Will he make the move? He's very deep on the brakes. Is he going to hold it?
Oh.
Yes, he is. Oh, big moment for Uviña. Holds on to it into the final corner we go. Oh, big moment as well for the leader. Unbelievable from Kawakami. They come into the line. Who's it going to be? Who's going to get it? It's going to get in the way of Perez. Perez gets it by 0.04 of a second. Gonzalez in 2nd. Joan Uviña in 3rd. Toledo in 4th. Jespersen rounds out the top 5. Kawakami came home in 6th position. And Miguel Parra rounds out the top 7. My goodness me, what a race, what an end.
Oh, I'm sweating.
I've got no voice left. Dear, oh dear. It's a good thing I've got to commentate tomorrow as well, isn't it? That was very exciting.
Who would have said that last corner would be that crazy?
It's incredible.
I think there were 5 wide into the last corner.
0.05 of a second. I couldn't call it as they came across the line. I had to wait for the timing screen because it was just so close. And Andreas Perez, well, he made amends for the opening race, that disaster where he crashed out. And now he takes the maximum 25 points. Manuel Gonzalez in second place. What a race he rode. A brilliant start to his championship for the Hau Courier Racing team. He'll be very, very pleased with that.
Uvinha started all that high side.
I know.
Stress. He
had a bit of a moment, and then Kawakami also had a bit of a move as well. Great result.
Yeah, poor Kawakami. He was running in the front and finally finished 6th with that moment on the last corner. So
he was leading going into it and then finished 6th, as you say. So it was a real disaster of an end to it for Kawakami. Jamie Davis, a brilliant championship finish for him in 11th position. There is Joan Uvinha in 3rd place. What an end to the European Talent Cup. The top 3 separated by just 1/10 of a second, and then further back, well, the top 5 actually separated by a maximum actually of 0.2 of a second. Incredibly close between the two, and the gap between Aleix Toledo and Simon Jespersen, 0.02 of a second as they came across the line in 4th and 5th position. That was absolutely brilliant. What a way to end the European Talent Cup round 1 in 2017. Plenty more action to come, of course, throughout the season. We'll talk to you more about that in just a few moments' time, but the riders now completing their reconnaissance lap. They'll head down into pit lane, and then we'll get ready to get that podium celebration underway, and I'm sure quite a few people are going to be wanting a nice glass of champagne after the day's action. There's the second place man, Manuel Gonzalez. They'll be pretty pleased with that one. All to the applause as Joan Uvinha held onto that high side into that final corner for the Team Stratos outfit. Some great reception in Parc Ferme as well. Everybody very, very pleased at the Hau Courier Racing team. And there is your victor. What a race from the number 77. Andreas Perez leads the way. And look at the Realia Avintia Academy team. They are delighted with that. What a way to end his day's worth of racing after what was, to be honest, such a disappointing start really to the championship for him, after crashing out, of course, in that opening race. So here are the final results then of that race. Andreas Perez leads the way by 0.04 of a second. Joan Uvinha just 1.75 of a second behind. Aleix Toledo 0.2 of a second behind him. Jespersen just 0.04 of a second behind them, so 4th and 5th very close. Kawakami in 6th. Parra was 7th. Francisco Gomez, a well-respected 8th place for the Spaniard. Edward Melgar rounding out the top 9. Andrea Diez is in 10th place. Jamie William Davis, the first Briton and only Briton home in that race, in 11th place. Fau Cañero is in 12th. Matthew Gregorio in 13th. Angele Vostatek in 14th place. Stefano Clistin in 15th. Colin Velthuizen in 16th place. Then comes Iker Garcia in 17th. And then further down the order, we look at just inside the top 20 of Jose Suarez and Callum James Blackwell. Forgot to mention him, of course. Callum Blackwell finishing in 20th place. Victor Alonso in 21st. Samantha Johansson, the only female rider and the first female home, with 2 riders failing to finish. Well, what a race. What an end to the European Talent Cup. We're just about getting our breath back up here in the commentary box, and we'll be hearing from the race winner in just a couple of moments' time as well, which will be very excited to hear from that race winner of Andreas Perez to find out his thoughts on that race. So the Circuito de Albacete has proven to be a worthy challenger for the start of the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. And a great race as well. Here we are. Here was the overtake for the lead. Look at the front of the shot, because Uvinha had a big moment in 4th place, but there it was. There was Kawakami going very, very high-sidey into that final corner, or nearly so. And then it all came down as a drag to the line, nearly 4 wide, and Kawakami was apocalyptic. We didn't see that one on screen. Crazy. Here we go. Let's hear from the winner.
Crazy, crazy last lap with these guys. But finally got the win. Last corner was a little crazy, but great job.
Yeah, I feel so good with the bike, and well, the last 3-4 laps I tried to push hard, but well, in the last lap I close my eyes and I push. So, well, finally this first position, and I'm very, very happy. So, congratulations to the team, because this weekend was working very, very hard, and to my family, sponsors. So, I'm very, very happy.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. Andreas Perez delighted with that result, as you would begin to imagine. What a race. Let's see some highlights from that particular one then, shall we? The lights went out. It was a great start from Uvinha off the front row of the grid. A great start also from the number 77 of Andreas Perez, the eventual race victor. And Kawakami made a bit of a shocker. Unfortunately, it ended up down nearly in 5th position by the first corner. Manuel Gonzalez got a great start and ended up in P2 into turn 1. Perez led the way in the opening stages. A great start from the Spanish rider. Later on in the race, it was Gonzalez who led the way, but Uvinha, who was looking very, very racy indeed, and also pretty ragged as well on that Honda machine. And here we are later on in the race. Some fantastic battles that went on. Uvinha holding on to second place, but going a little bit wide was the leader. Here comes Perez, though. He led the way for quite a significant amount of time. As they came in towards the right chicane, everybody making a very, very good start. And a very good ride indeed. Here came Uvinha up the inside of Perez later on in the race. There were so many overtakes in this race, it was hard to keep track of exactly what was happening. But as we came on to that final lap of racing, it was incredibly close between the two. Uvinha led the way, but not for long as they went into the first corner, because straight up the inside went the number 18 machine of Manuel Gonzalez. Here we go then, over the line once again, and a new different leader into that first corner, with Uvinha getting a great move up the inside of Perez. Perez with that Realia Avintia Academy machine, looking very racy indeed. There was a bit of contact between the two. Perez letting Uvinha know that he was there, or something along the lines of that. They came across the back straight, though, very, very close indeed, ducking and diving, weaving to try and get that slipstream. Perez leading the way, second place being held on to by Uvinha. Uvinha saying, stay behind me, Gonzalez. But it wasn't quite working for him there, unfortunately. So came over the timing line once more. Again, that slipstream city battle continued onwards. Gonzalez leading the way this time into the first corner, ahead of Perez. And Uvinha actually getting himself up into a good point-paying position as well. But this was the moment that nearly defined the race, as Uvinha nearly crashed out. A big moment for him. And then it all came down to the final corner as Kawakami also went wide. And then it was a massive drag to the line between 5 riders. And it would eventually go the way of Andreas Perez by 0.04 of a second to Manuel Gonzalez. Then it was Joan Uvinha rounding out the podium. And what a race, what a way to end the season. A fantastic, to start the season rather, I should say. What a way to conclude the first round of the season there, Dakota. And we'll try and bring you back in. There we go.
It was funny, Perez, I said, how was that last corner? And he goes, I just shut my eyes and hope for the best. So there you go.
Well, the Realia Avintia team, you can see there, were understandably delighted with that result, as you would begin to expect. And here we are waiting for the podium as well.
Wind picking up again right now. But racing's done, so it's good way to end the day with sunshine after 3 horrible days of full rain, and great racing. Glad everyone's okay too. So here's
indeed. There we are, all the riders congratulating one another. Andreas Perez congratulates Joan Uvinha, second place man of Manuel Gonzalez, also looking great out there for the Hal Courier Racing team.
Jean-Marc Denis, vicepresidente de la Federación Internacional de Motociclismo en Europa, hace entrega del trofeo al tercer clasificado.
There we are, the third place trophy presented to Joan Uvinha. And he's not too displeased with that result either, is he?
Oh no, not at all. And he's had some moments in this race. I think he should be happy for actually finishing, and especially finishing in the podium.
Yes, indeed. Second place man, Manuel Gonzalez. And here's the winner, Andreas Perez, by 0.04 of a second. What a way to conclude the day. And again, as we had with the first race, all of these riders, of course, far too young to spray the champagne. So
and there's that credit card, gas credit card.
Is he able to use that? Is he able to drive?
I think it's for his dirt bike.
Andreas gives it to his parents or something like that.
Or that, yeah, that could be the option.
Aplausos para el
A fantastic result for Manuel Gonzalez in second place, but that man, Andreas Perez, he was delighted, the winner and the first all-Spanish podium in the championship as well. That was very, very exciting indeed. They'll pose for the photographs, of course, and then we'll get...
the caseta shake.
Exactly, the caseta shake, is that what we're going to call it now? There we go.
Have you ever even tried a casera?
I've never tried a casera. What is a casera?
It's actually not too bad. So a lot of people put in their red wine here too.
Yeah?
So
what does it taste of?
It's got like a little lemon taste of it, and it's basically like fizzy water.
I see. Well, there we go. So they're spraying the casera. I'll know that for future commentaries now as well. Fantastic.
You're going to be speaking Spanish by the end of this season.
Don't say that. I've got to commentate in English as well. Well, what an end to the European Talent Cup here at round 1 at Albacete. A thrilling race, a thrilling day of action we've had. It's been brilliant across all 3 classes.
100%. And definitely next race coming up is Barcelona. Go ahead.
Let's have a look. Simon Jespersen does lead the championship then, but he's tied with Manuel Gonzalez in second place. So the Danish and the Spanish riders. Alex Toledo just 3 points adrift on 33. Uvinha 4th, Perez 5th, Kawakami in 6th position after that terrible end, finishing down in 6th place after that near high side at the final corner. Jamie Davis is the first Briton in the championship in 12th place. Falconero in 13th, Colin Felt-Hazen in 14th, Stefano Kristin in 15th, Andrzej Vostatek in 16th, and Iker Garcia rounding out the podium with the championship order with 1 point in 17th position. Well, there we are. That does conclude a day's racing here at the Circuito de Albacete. And that was a fantastic day's worth of racing. What's your highlight very quickly there, Dakota?
Highlight. That last lap, last corner.
Amazing.
Incredible. Shut your eyes and just hope for the best.
What a way to end the first day of action here at the FIM CEV Repsol. As the graphic says at the bottom of your screen, we'll be back next time out in Le Mans on May the 20th for the Moto3 class. None of the European Talent Cup and the Moto2 classes will be present. We'll have the Moto3 Junior World Championship taking place.
Same weekend as the World Championship.
Exactly. It's a support class for that for the World Championship, which is absolutely wonderful. We're very excited for that. Don't forget, of course, next weekend we're going to be bringing you live coverage of round 4 of the 2017 MotoGP World Championship. So keep up to date on all of the action on MotoGP.com for that. What a way to end the day. A brilliant race in the European Talent Cup. From myself, Tom Brooks, and from Dakota Momola alongside me up here in the commentary box, it's goodbye for now, and we'll see you again next time out in Le Mans.